Disclaimer, we'd like to note before the start of this interview that the opinions about to be expressed by the guest on tonight's Gettin Salty Experience podcast are that of the guest and do not directly or necessarily reflect the views of the host of the Gettin Salty Experience podcast.
Put the fucking fire out!
You're listening to the Gettin Salty Experience podcast.
Hello to all you Chief Leeb fans around the world.
I still don't know who this guy is.
And welcome back to the Gettin Salty Experience podcast. It's the only one that brings the Firehouse Kitchen Table to you. And the guest we got tonight, it's like it's a Leebapalooza is what we got here, bro, going on.
Let me see what I have.
It's a Leeb smorgasbord. You know what I mean? You go to the Chinese buffet, have a little bit of that, have a little bit of that, have a little bit of that. We got some chiefs over here. We got some guys you grew up with. We got some firemen, a couple of chiefs in apartments sprinkled down on the top. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Little this, little that, you know?
Yep. But we got to get through it quick, Gons, because we got a lot of guys, like I said in the pre-show.
All right.
Could be a great show, monumental, or it could be a total fuck the total pooch. You know what I'm saying, bro? I don't know what it's going to be.
If this goes great, it was my idea. If it doesn't, it's his idea.
All right. Thank you.
I'll take a little bit.
Welcome back, the guy on the bottom left. I kind of forget his name at the time, but a little buddy there.
Looks a little skinnier.
Frank. Welcome back, Frank. Appreciate you coming back.
Skinny Frank now? It's Skinny Frank.
It is Skinny Frank. I almost didn't recognize it. How much weight did you lose?
I'm down a total of 25 to 30 this year. Total.
Yeah.
I started. So yeah, we're good. We're doing it.
The old lady chasing you around the house now, or what?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
You got to up your volume a little there, Frank. Whatever you
I was told I got to talk directly into the mic. So yeah, we got right here. We're good.
All right. He might be the number one Chief Leeb fanboy. That's why we got to have him sitting in there all that day.
You see the thing I said today? The hot dogs falling on it.
I want you to say
with the
that.
hot dogs.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
All right, let's get to the commercials really quick, guys. Come on, let's do it.
Right, we got to play everyone, so here we go. Let's listen to Armor Tough first.
Armor Tough Firehouse flooring was recently installed in Station Number 7, the newest of the DeKalb County fire stations in Decatur, Georgia. Meeting Deputy Chief Smith of Support Services, Vince explained that Armor Tough interlocking flooring is the only floor that is tough enough to withstand the abuse of fire apparatus, along with fire personnel at a very busy station. Chief Smith explained, "The flooring in all of our stations over the years gave us multiple problems. We need a floor that can last as long as the walls and the roof. That's why we chose Armor Tough. The installation team came from New Jersey, and in 3 days, they had completed their work without any disruption to our daily operations. We were very impressed with not only the product, but with the workmanship as well. I highly recommend Armor Tough for your station's floor." Call Vince today for a no-obligation quote at 908-917-7697.
Vince,
our little buddy Vince is coming on the boat trip too. The only bad part, me and Louie didn't know his last name. Like, hey, what's Vince's last name? I don't know. Little Vince. I don't know. So I put Vince on his Evite. That's it.
Armor Tough
Vince. All
That's
right, go with the next one.
Here we go.
The FireWire app is the go-to resource for all news and incidents in the fire and emergency services. The mobile app is here and available for download. This long-awaited update addresses a handful of concerns in regard to intermittent crashes, jurisdiction areas, map settings, notifications, and more. This iteration displays our newly designed user interface with the focus on expansion, as we want to cover your neighborhood, city, and county. Our goal is to provide our users with the most accurate and on-time information regarding emergency incidents, news, and knowledge on all things fire and emergency services. Our newest addition, in partnership with the Gettin Salty Experience, brings you Salty Wire, where you can view never-before-seen premium content from Lou and Kubes and exclusive segments in various categories. Subscribe today on saltywire.com.
In fact, we have a new segment coming out. It's the second part of the rescue documentary. And we're filming 2 more with Hashhagen tomorrow. So stop being a bunch of cheap bastards. Take $9 out of your wallet and subscribe to the thing. You get the Firewire too. Go get it. That's what I'm saying. Get it. I'm gonna hit the guys who are coming on the show tonight and hit them over the head.
Do it.
You do it.
Do it.
Take some money out of your pocket and get the app, will you?
Few shirts.
Come on. Well, we'll save the health and safety for later.
Well, yeah, we have New Jersey. The last one.
Yeah, do it. The last one.
Okay.
Established in 1930 and under the current ownership since 1987, the New Jersey Fire Equipment Company handles a complete line of fire department equipment and supplies. Headquartered in Greenbrook, the company operates full 3M Scott service facilities in Ridgefield Park and Toms River, staffed by 10 fully authorized Scott certified technicians with a fleet of 6 fully equipped service vans. All New Jersey fire technicians and sales representatives are active or retired firefighters, officers or chief officers, career and volunteer. They understand the business and the importance of their work. New Jersey Fire has represented Scott since Earl Scott entered the SCBA business at the end of World War II. Among other leading manufacturers represented by New Jersey Fire are Globe and Firedex Turnout Gear, Mercedes Hose, Task Force Tips and Akron Brass, Hygenol, Firehooks, Arctic Compressors, MSA Carnes Helmets, ChemGuard Foam, Alkalite and Duo Safety Ladders, BA Face Shield Protectors, Truckman's Choice Saws, Grove's Gear Racks and Washer Dryers, Supervac Fans, RPI, Streamlight, and many others. A New Jersey incorporated and based company, sales and service are limited to the state of New Jersey. Find us now at www.njfe.com. That's www.njfe.com.
So you might be asking yourself, where is Frank Leeb right now? Is he in the Ukraine training the Ukrainian firefighters?
Maybe.
No. Is he in the Sudan? I don't know. Maybe he's helping them out with their training facility. No. You know where Frank Leeb is right now? Right here, coming on this show, bro.
Oh, there he is, right there.
I see him down there. So I'm gonna let Louie, my partner, who actually is away somewhere again. I don't know where the hell. I don't know who gets away more, Frank Leeb or Lou Rafrano. I don't know. But we'll let Ruffy bring in our guest tonight. So, Ruff, without further ado,
let's get
I got dressed up for the show tonight.
What part is this anyway? What part is this?
Part 1.
Part what?
Oh, Leeb? I don't know what it is, bro.
4.
I'd rather have a sister in a whorehouse than a Leeb on a podcast. I got to tell you that. I don't know. He's done more podcasts.
4, right? I think it's 4, right? For 4 times. Yeah, it's 4. He's been here at 4 years old. He's here 4 times.
I was 4 years old.
Bring him in, Ruff. The man.
Here we go. You guys ready?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right, coming to the stage, Deputy Assistant Chief Francis Leeb.
Whoa! You know
plus a couple of welcome to the rocks. Don't forget.
Dude, that's the same as how many more guys can you fit in an apartment, bro?
At least 5 more.
At least 5 more. How many podcasts can you fit a Leeb into? At least 5.
At least 5 more.
Well, congratulations on your retirement, sir.
Thank you, and thank you for getting dressed up for tonight, Kubes. I'm impressed. I got to say, I'm impressed.
Only the best for you. I got to show you respect, right? You were the first guy that we had on, I believe, the first guy that we had on that that was actually still working.
Still on the job. That is correct.
Yep. And it's so that it's only appropriate that the first show after I retire, I'm on that show. So thanks for having me on.
Anytime, brother.
Shit.
Anytime. Before we get into your what you want to talk about, we got to get patriotic. We got to do our duty. All right.
I did it the other night. We're gonna do it the anthem. You guys good with that?
You do whatever you want to do, Gonzo.
Right,
you be you.
I think it's
4th of July week. So go ahead.
Yeah, here we go.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the
Beautiful. Chief. Former Chief. The stage is yours. You know what I forgot? Frank. The stage is yours.
Thank you, brothers. So
How fast that happened.
Today's the squad anniversary, right? The squad anniversary. 26 years ago at 1800 tonight, as Mike Sullivan would say, tonight we ride. So happy anniversary. I know you two are both charter members, and to all of those charter members out there, it's the line of duty of Hackensack, New Jersey as well, right? 1988, five brothers, not too far from here. And hey, how about happy retirement as well to the champ, Mike Champo. Absolutely one of the best that there is. Yeah, he's definitely someone that you need to have on. But I certainly want to start a couple of shout outs and some of the pitches that I sent earlier to Tony Mistrelli, and he's Farmingdale long-term member. I'm a volunteer and also a retired FDNY firefighter who was recently diagnosed with cancer. Certainly a shout out to him. If the first three pitches that I sent are related to that, there's me and him at a benefit recently. One of the nicest people you'll meet. He was they had a benefit for him, and the brothers and sisters from East Farmingdale were there. There's a picture I sent of them. There they are with all of us there. And another one that the bagpipes were there, the football players were there, and there's Tony with Jerry Murtha of the bagpipes. Yeah, so Jerry's dad was a longtime member of East Farmingdale Fire Department as well. So a shout out to Tony Mistrelli that he kicks cancer's ass. To Kevin Garrison, a member of the FDNY, who's also battling cancer right now. Just want those brothers to know I'm thinking of them. And hey, who's this over here? Come here. We got our first tonight. Say hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, wave hi. So, thank you for joining the show, Lily. That's so nice of you.
Thank you, Lily.
Mm-hmm. All right. And really she has a fire truck here. Thank you, Lily. Man. Yeah, so I'm in New York. It's been quite a couple of months, and certainly I just came back from San Marco, Texas, and the State Firefighters and Fire Marshals Association of Texas. And man, the good stuff that they're doing down in Texas, and their Rockstar Kim and the Big Cheese Dan Kramer there. Good stuff that they're doing. I was up in New York State. Yeah, there you go. There's that's a picture of them. Love those cowboy hats that they wear. I was up at New York State convention as well. And I got to see the installation of their newest president, Tony LaFerrera, who happens to be from a Long Island department. He's in the North Babylon Fire Department. And Sue, Mary, Bruce, and of course, Paul and the team that they have, they do an amazing job at the New York State conference. I think I have pictures of them, and I certainly have a picture of, that's Sue. She's one of the people who runs it. And that's Al Benjamin.
I've
never heard of him.
Al
Benjamin. Ruff, you ever hear of that guy?
I hope the chief work on him a little bit too.
Work on him a little.
Pepper him up a little bit. Get him to come on the show.
Yeah. And there's the champ right there.
Champa.
And my buddy Tim in that picture as well. And where else was I? I was at the Great Lakes Hot. Oh, there's some more pictures of John Norman there. You may have, that Timmy Klett guy. I think you've had him on. Rocky Jones.
Yeah, she don't want to come on the show. We're trying working on her.
Have you had Lombardo on yet? He's another.
We have him on. Mike. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's a Buffalo guy, ain't he?
He's a Buffalo guy. Yeah, he's a great guy. Another great guy.
I mean, he's no Frank Leeb, but he's good. The butter and all good, right, Ruff? I'm getting him good.
I was in Michigan.
My job.
Go to Michigan. I was at the Great Lakes Hot, and Corey Brandon, Sean Duffy, Alan Stiles. They're building the culture there, and just another great event that they had. Those brothers, they took me to the baseball game, and they had it where they were going to put it on the screen. Congratulations, Chief Leeb and whatever, right? And of course, in the third inning, the screen breaks and they don't put it up on the screen. It says we're having but yeah, you can see a lot of the brothers that went to the game. I mean, just the brotherhood. And then I was out, PK out of Berkeley and his partner Munoz, and the Fire Nuggets, and of course Jeff Bryant and what they're doing to deliver great training with the Fire Nuggets brand. It's just, what's going on in our profession is amazing. There is great stuff going on all around the country, and I have been blessed to be able to go to these conferences and sit there with like-minded brother and sister firefighters, and it's just, as one of the later guests, Kurt Isaacson, says, and I kind of stole that line, is we are the lucky ones. We are absolutely the lucky ones for what we do in our profession and what we're able to do. And then my final quick 3 shout-outs. I want to say hi to Matt Alexander, who's watching from Wisconsin, John Gold, and my buddy Mike, who's the Elmhurst Buff. I see you in the chat. I see you there. So, we are the lucky ones. So thank you again for having me on. And, and that Kubes is dressed for the occasion.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I shined up pretty nice, right?
When's the actual day? When was the actual day?
Thursday.
June 27th was my 0900 was my official retirement. Yeah. So
how long were you thinking about it, if you don't mind me asking you?
Yeah, you know what? Like they say, the FDNY is hard to get on and harder to get off. And I think it's they say when it's time to go, and with 32 and a half years, the thing is I'm never going to retire from the fire service. I love the fire service. I love this too much. Why else would I come on this show 4 times?
He ain't lying.
Right? So, that's why I say, and I give a lot to the fire service. I love the fire service. I'm all in, and you would think it wouldn't be possible. I get more out of the fire service than I put in, and that's not being selfish. I'm all in, but we get so much back from the fire service. If you love the job and its people, the job and its people will love you back. And the bottom line is, you can live to be 150 years old, and I'll never go to enough fires to satisfy my appetite to go to fires. I love going to fires, but at some point, so it sounds like there's I don't have my job phone anymore, but thanks to the chat, it sounds like there's a 3-bagger in the Bronx. So, but
3-bagger in the Bronx.
The Bronx is on the board, apparently, brothers and sisters.
Can't make it up on the road.
But I see, there's a lot.
And he don't have a scanner by his bed, right?
It looks like there's
not yet.
You don't have a scanner by your bed, do you? No.
No.
Yeah,
None of that.
No. All right, we got to get a guest in here because Joe Wiz is lighting up my phone that he can't get.
Somebody.
Joe Wiz.
Yes.
My boy.
He's coming on. But first, we got to get a guy in here that you worked under many times before, bro. I mean, you were firefighter.
Many times.
When it's time to change. I'm doing my Peter Brady there.
Let's do that man voice.
There's a guy that you worked under many times before. He was your captain in Squad 270, and he was the chief of department while you were running the Rock.
The GOAT himself.
Let's bring him in here, shall we, guys? Let's bring in chief of department. I can't do that. Chief of department, Tommy Richardson.
Here he is.
Crazy, man.
He was dying. He just wanted to get on. Let's go.
Wow. Pleasure to be here, gents. Really is on a special occasion for a special guy. A really special guy. By the way, the 3rd Alarm in the Bronx is 14th Battalion, 83 engine, 1st Tube, 130th Street.
He's not listening at all.
No,
I don't know what's
I
going
just
on.
set up on the buffet. Anyway,
Happy squad anniversary.
yeah, happy squad anniversary, brothers. That's right. Probably
yeah, we were there. We did it together, right?
greatest opportunity of many of our careers. So it was awesome. But here tonight, we're here to talk about my man, Frank Leeb, my man. So how long do I know Frank Leeb? So I met Frank Leeb just about 30 years ago. 1994, I met Frank. I met Frank when I was just promoted to captain. I was assigned to the 15th Division covering. And my first assignment, I was sent to Engine 323. And I was there for a couple of months. And I meet this young man, Frank Leeb. There was quite a cast of characters in that company at the time. It was a good place, good bunch of young people. Frank was one of the younger guys there. He was in the job a couple of years, and I met him. And just at the time I got there, they got assigned 3 probies. So we all jumped in. We were training like really every single tour. So I had a good time there. But I would often say to Frank, 323 is nice, but you gotta we gotta get you out of here. You gotta go someplace a little busier, maybe, 323 is on the far end of the 15th Division. They do more work now than they probably ever did, But back then it wasn't as busy. But I said, we gotta get you out of here. And he said he had his paper in. I think at the time, if I remember, Frank, I think you were trying to go to 275, if I remember.
Yeah, so I was trying to go to 275 and 235. From the day I was told I couldn't put a paper in when I was on probation. So the day I got off probation, I put in a paper. And I figured those were, at the time, 275 was a single engine, and I knew they were killing it. And 235, same thing. They were a single engine. I figured it'd be easier to get to a single house. But, I had no weight. You certainly weren't any weight back then.
Yeah, no, I was nothing then. I had just gotten promoted out of 235. That's why I was a lieutenant. But so I was there for a couple of months, and listen, when all of us go through this job, you meet people, you meet a lot of people, but certain people stand out. Frank Leeb stood out then. He certainly stands out now in the entire fire service, and I'm very proud to know you and really proud of what you've done and what you continue to do, because you're like an Energizer bunny, man. So I leave. I moved on, and it wasn't until 4 years later we meet again when they did the squad tryouts at the fire academy. They called them the tryouts when we were picking our companies, picking our personnel. And I remember Frank coming down there, and I remember seeing him, and I said, "You're still there?"
Because you're still no weight.
I was just saying, you don't know anybody, do you, bro?
The rest was history, man. We took him in the squad, and Frank was an all-star from the get-go, man. I mean, we put a nice team together. We had a great group of guys, as you know, and Frank was one of the top dogs there, just all in. And he didn't start studying for a little while, but once he started studying, he went right up the ranks very, very quickly. And I didn't have the opportunity to work with him, up until again when I was chief of department. And he went to the fire academy, right? Is that when you went to the fire academy? Was I chief of department or chief of operations?
Yeah. So you moved up so quick. I don't even remember. But here's what I remember. I wasn't even notified I was going to get promoted because you were trying to get me to go to the fire academy. When you were at the fire academy, you said, "Hey, bro, I need you to come and work for me." And I said, "Bro, I can't, not until I get promoted." So you called me. Right. You said, "That's fine. That's fair." Because I was in the 4-6 battalion. I'm like, that is such a great place to work. You said, "That's fair enough." So you found out I was getting promoted. I got a call from you telling me, you said, "Hey, bro, I'm taking you to the fire academy." I said, "Hey, bro, I told you I'm not coming until I get promoted." You said, "Oh, you're getting promoted in 2 days."
By the way,
I called his bluff, man. I called his bluff.
There you go.
So I told him, I said, "I'll come to the fire academy, but I still want to work in the field." He's like, "Fine, you can work in the field." So I worked full-time in the 1st Division as much as I could in Lower Manhattan. I worked for him at the fire academy. And then right before I got promoted, they put the they put the fire safety education unit on me as well. So I was basically working 3 full-time jobs just for the opportunity to work in the field and not disappoint Chief Richardson. And then it worked out. It definitely worked out. I got to work a lot in the first division, a lot of great firefighters down there, a lot of great fire officers and chiefs down there. And I learned a heck of a lot because those firefighters down there are so knowledgeable in their buildings. It's really remarkable how good they are down there. They don't get a lot of fires, but when they do, they're crazy.
And you've heard some of you guys have heard the story before. You know, I don't know how many in the audience have heard it, but you know, Frank was the reason why I studied for that one last exam for deputy chief. Because in the FDNY, that's the last civil service exam, and then anything after that is an appointed position. And Frank called me. I remember the call. He called me up and said, "Hey, we're going to start studying for the deputies test." And I'm like, I'm out, man. I mean, I can't do it. At the time, I had been a battalion chief coming up on 12 or 13 years, and I was in the 3-8 battalion. Life was good. I said, Frank, I don't think so come to the meeting, come to the first meeting. So I think I went to the first meeting with my milk crate, with my books in the milk crate.
The old milk crate.
And all these guys were laughing at me because they all had iPads and all of that shit. So I said, so then, you know, I kind of said, you know what? I'm going to do it. All my kids were grown, and I wound up doing it. It all worked out. But if it hadn't been for Frank, I wouldn't have done it. I would have probably
never been chief of department if it wasn't for Frank.
If it wasn't for Frank, I wouldn't have. It's true.
Look at that.
Absolutely true.
We weren't going to take no for an answer from him. And to every single person in the study group. So for those that don't know, Tom wound up being #1 on the deputy list. And every single person in the study group, every single person in the study group was happier that he did well than their own success, because that's the type of man that Tom Richardson is, that you want to be around him, you want to work with him and for him, and you want to see him succeed because he pulls everybody with you. And I think the greatest compliment that you can say about Tom Richardson is that he brings everybody with him in his success. And that's what he did. Everywhere he's been, he's had an all-star winning team.
And Frank was a big part of the winning team in the squad, in our study group. And when Frank made staff, we were so happy to have him on the staff. It was quite an honor to have him on there. I'm going to read you the text I put in the squad group on the day Frank retired. All the guys in the company were congratulating him. I put, "Brother Frank, an honor and a privilege to have worked with you. You are an all-star in my book. I saved you from 323, and you make all of us from the squad proud. You've given much to the FDNY. Well done, my good and faithful servant. You are the man. I'm so proud of you, man. I'm so proud to know you. And God bless your wife, man. I don't know how you do it. He's all over the world. He's all over the country. But, you know, here's a guy that continues to give back, and he'll continue. He's young. He's energetic. He's got a lot to give. And we're proud. Not only are we proud that we worked with him, but, you know, Frank's a Long Island kid. I'm a Long Island kid. And he's making a name for Long Island for sure. He's farming their fire company. And I didn't know him in the Volleys, but I got to know him over the years. So, Frank, I love you, buddy. I wish you the best. And God bless you and your family. And thanks for having me on again, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it. All right, next up on deck, we got to get the Gons. You got to get the Chief up there because Chief, thanks for coming on. We have guys trying to get into the chat here. So,
all right, I'm just going to say we'll see you later. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Chief. All right. Next to the stage, you got.
Here we go. Wow, he really liked you.
He did.
I got to Venmo him again later.
All right, Ruffy, we got a guy who worked, believe it or not, with the rug. He worked with my brother, Richie the Rug, in 307-154. Then he went to Rescue 2. I don't know how he made that jump, but we'll know soon enough when he gets on the show because he has promised to come on the show. I got the pleasure and privilege to drive him a few times. Let's bring him up here, Rookie. Chief Joe Jardin.
What's up, Joe?
Yo, Leeb.
Brother Joe.
Yo, Leeb, you quitter.
Another member of our study group. I studied for every single rank with Joe Jardin.
Huh.
Are you talking or am I talking? Like what's
Not yours now.
You know he likes to talk about himself.
I
Chief,
feel like I'm at the fire service equivalent of the Tom Brady roast on Netflix a while back. But certainly, you know, Tom, you're good. And I know some may think of you as the GOAT, but you're not Tom Brady. But yeah, geez, I've been privileged to know Frank since probably about 1999. You made reference to the study group as how we first became acquainted. I was in Rescue 2 then, as Kevin alluded to, and Frank was in the squad. And Tom Donnelly, who was one of my mates in Rescue 2, good friends with Tony Tedeschi from Deer Park. And Tommy didn't know if he was studying for lieutenant or captain at the time because of the questionable nature of the lieutenant's list that he was on. As it turned out, 9/11, created, unfortunately, an opportunity that took him out of the running for the lieutenant's list because he was getting promoted to lieutenant, Tommy. But he put together a good group of folks, and I learned early on. And let me just, a few of those folks, right? Who do we have then, Frank? We had Richie Wiley from 270, Tony Tedeschi. I think Jimmy Earsley.
Jimmy Earsley was in that group. Yep.
And myself and TD. Who am I leaving out? Am I forgetting?
You said Tedeschi, right?
I said Tony. Yep.
Yeah.
So I learned early on, right? We all know how Frank is in terms of team building and mentoring and getting people to do things. Very often do things they don't want to do, have no desire to do, but he's got that persuasive quality that, and usually it ends up well. Usually, and I'll get into a specific example later on. But we're pretty successful in our pursuit of studying for lieutenant. We go on to study for captain and battalion chief together and deputy, as you just heard, and everybody did pretty well. So that's how I got to know and learn about Frank, and we became pretty close friends ever since, and such that our families have gotten together often. We vacationed often. Like Frank is very persistent, as we all know, and we would go away to a timeshare down in Florida annually, and Frank had to, and on a cruise with the Richardsons, right? He's got a nightly thing where he can't end the day without a dip in the hot tub, regardless of weather conditions, right? Whether it's raining or maybe hail might be on the way, and he just would never relent every night. And there were some where he walked out the door by himself, but nonetheless, he was very persuasive in that pursuit. And he likes to have a good time, right? So a phrase that I don't know if I coined. What's that, Kev? You got a question?
No, I'm just no.
So a phrase that I know someone coined. Everybody's familiar with "party like a rock star." Well, no, it's "party like Frank Leeb." That kind of relates to his hot tub pursuits, right? But I'm so thankful.
I don't know Frank Leeb, the partier. We're gonna have to get to know that Frank Leeb.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think his liver thanks him that he's not quite the rock star that he was, some 20 years ago, right? But
yeah, no, I'm definitely not. Yeah, so it was, I could party back in the day a little bit, but yeah, not as much today.
I really cherish the friendship that we developed over the years, with you and Lynn, and of course Jessica and Justin, and now Lily. And I can't say how much of a help and solace that Frank and Lynn brought to me and my family during some tough times recently. My wife passed a couple of years ago, and they were there at every turn. So I'll never forget that. So I appreciate that in terms of the job bringing us together and our study pursuits. Just a quick example of how persuasive Frank can be. I think we just took the battalion chief's test, and for those members of the FDNY and perhaps some from other departments who have a pretty significant study regimen that goes into getting promoted, we studied tirelessly. We put in many hours of studying solo and study groups and phone calls and texts back and forth. And when you're done, you're done. You want to kind of burn the books, right? And I'm sure Lou and others can identify with that sentiment. So we're done. I remember distinctly being on the golf course, Smithtown Landing, on about the 12th hole when I get a call from Frank. Hey, Joe, we're going to go write the captain's test. What? No, we're not. Yeah, have fun. No, we're going to have fun. You know, he goes into Frank Leeb, persuasion mode. And Monday, we're on a freaking train going into Manhattan to write the captain's test. But like a lot of things.
Actually true. He says, you mother effer, why can't I say no to you? Why can't I say no to you? Why would we do that? Everybody hates the people who write the tests. I hate that I'm friends with you. Why are we doing this? And I said, because, and you know why we had to do it? Because we need good people with common sense to write these exams. Because when you don't, you get really bad tests. And we had two really good friends that studied really hard and didn't make one of the lists for captain. And I'll never forget that. And we did it for those guys. And we wound up writing a really good test. People didn't hate us. We didn't have to go into hiding. And it wound up okay after he got over hating me.
But the chief double bogeyed that hole then.
You fucked up his game, bro.
The picture that comes up on my phone when you call, when you remember to call me back, that is a picture of Frank lounging in front of the window at DCAS on 1 Center Street while we were in one of our debate sessions. But really, anything we did together seemed to be productive. Although we never worked together in the firehouse or out in the field, we worked together on a number of projects. During my time as chief of safety, I saw the need to really redouble our efforts towards cancer risk reduction, contamination risk reduction, and wanted to put together a work group. And who was the natural, what did I come to a natural conclusion that Frank would be the fellow to chair that work group, and what a job he did, and really had an impact at the time. This was 2017 to 2019. We published, right, and mostly at Frank's. Due to Frank's leadership, was a groundbreaking book, Reduce Your Risk, FDNY's Call to Action for Reducing Exposure to Fireground Contaminants, which one might say was sort of formative in what would become Frank's future pursuits in terms of his activity on an NFPA technical committee that just read the document on the topic, and of course, going on now to serve as the director of the First Responder Center for Excellence, right? So I think we did some good things working together in that regard. Very helpful when I was the chief of fire prevention, needing to tool up some training for our fire protection inspectors. Frank was a fabulous resource when he was at the Fire Academy and in making that come to pass. I realize I'm on the clock, so I'll kind of bring it home. But to talk about Frank's commitment to this topic, especially cancer risk reduction. On one of our vacations, it involved the hot tub pursuit every night. He was so committed. We actually went on a couple of field trips during vacation, right, including a visit to Miami-Dade, right, where we somehow scored a ride in the helicopter, but also to Palm Beach County, looking at their gear extractors, how they clean their gear, looking at their best practices for cancer risk reduction. And then we came back and went in the hot tub after that. So I appreciate, all those times together that we got to share. And we shared it, I think you're going to have Joe Driver on later. Yes. I don't know if anybody knows that I don't know if you'd call it broke him in, but Joe was my driver. Joe was Joe's driver before he became Frank's driver, and and became a good friend and was a great partner in that pursuit. So, Frank, of course, I wish you nothing but the best, and I'm sure we're going to be working together on some project or another in the future. And look forward to you returning my calls as well.
Thank you for starting what the modern day FDNY does for contamination reduction and to reduce cancer in our beloved job. Was really started when you were the chief of safety by appointing me to be the chair of that committee and giving me the leeway to appoint people to that committee that I wanted to. And we accomplished an amazing amount of things. And it all started from under your leadership. So thank you for that. Thank you for being on tonight. Thank you for kind of going easy on me tonight as well. So,
well, and I'll just say, right? I mean, other folks are going to really comment on the fabulous job you did in your role as, the chief of the fire academy, and for a time you were essentially running training for a job. You were the best suited for that position, and really appreciate all the time and effort you did in that role, as well as everywhere else you were in the FDNY. So best luck going forward. And thanks for having me, guys. And yeah, I'll be on, like I said, right after Hoppy.
Yeah, don't forget to return my phone call when I call you about the show, all right?
All righty. Have a good
I'll call
night,
you
guys.
with the tea time there, Chief.
All right. Thanks, Lou.
All right.
Thanks, Chief.
Thanks, Chief.
All right. Somebody else is trying to come in the back there, Jan. So
We'll see.
That's probably going to be Mike Wiz. It's going to be Joe Wiz, probably.
We'll see.
Guys, you're going to watch that feedback?
Yeah, I was going to let Chief know that if I mute you, Chief, it's only because I'm getting feedback on your end, even when I'm talking now. So I just may mute you for a little bit.
All right, Rook, pick somebody. Bring him on in.
I don't even know who you got. I have no idea.
Oh, you can't see the. I forgot.
I
I'm
got
sorry,
nothing.
bro. We don't give Louis that access. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Hey, you being a bromance with Frank Leeb. You bring in the next guest, Tank.
Which one do you want? Whoever.
I said you bring him in. I don't really give a crap. Go ahead.
Come on, let's go. Bring it home.
Are you going to hit him up, or you want me to do it?
You get him. We're bringing Chief Goldfetter.
All right, bring him in, bro. You know how to do it.
Bring him in. Yeah, hit it up. Hit it up. I'm just going to hit the button. Go ahead. Bring him in.
Don't be all bashful in front of your man crush.
That way it's timing.
Destination is Chief Goldfetter.
There you go.
Bring him in. There he is.
Here he is.
Oh, he went inside. Maybe he got a little cold out there. I don't know. It was a little
Closer to the internet.
I thought.
We started it when it was daylight out.
Well, I didn't know when you're backstage, your camera gets like foggy. So I'm running around out there switching buttons and cables and everything else.
Bad.
And,
why don't you just lay your mustache over it? Everything will be fine. Keep it nice and warm.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. What a pleasure. And pleasure to honor Frank this week. Frank and I first met years ago at a sleepover at Michael Jackson's house. It was love at first sight. No, on a serious note, Frank and I have really we've kind of we should have known each other well before we met each other. We're both very passionate, both very into it, and we got to become friends through both our work on firefighter survival and the balance between aggressive firefighting and what a lot of people these days, don't go in, don't do this, don't do that. And Frank and I, through many conversations, agreed that, there's some great ways to do this job and still not necessarily unnecessarily get yourself hurt or killed. And so the friendship built, and we share a lot of conversations. And then I guess probably because I know I have very limited time tonight because there's so many great people you want to have on, I'll share this story. Frank and I often would talk about fires, and we would say, did you see that video with so-and-so? I said, yeah, it's crazy. How do they not know that already happened somewhere else? And why aren't they aware of this? So fast forward about 3 years ago, I told Frank, I've had this idea for a book. And what I want to do is, I did the Pass It On series where we reached out to so many people and met many, Frank and many others, Tommy and some others. We wanted them, not everybody can meet Tommy Richardson. Not everybody can meet Jeff Kuhl, things like that, right? So we asked them to share their stories in the Pass It On book. So that's what the Pass It On books are. And all the funds for those books were donated to the Firefighter Cancer Support Network, the Fire Tunnels to Towers, and the Downey Foundation, and National Fallen Firefighters. So I was done with the 3 books. I wanted to write something else because, again, I felt we keep seeing some of the same things. How do these young guys not understand this already happened? Especially today, right? I mean, 10 years ago, we didn't have a Gettin Salty program. So in this day and age, there's so many ways to communicate, but yet we're not communicating. Something's being missed. So I said, look, I've had this idea to write a book where we share stories from those who were there. And long story short, Frank said, man, I'm on board. Let's do it. And this late summer, early fall, after a 2-year amount of work, we have a book coming out called 30 Fires You Must Know. And it's we've gone through hundreds of fires. We've got enough of book 2, book 3, book 4. But basically, we identified everything from a single family dwelling to a rural situation, to a hazmat, to some significant fires happened in New York City that we feel, I mean, and really one of the things that really keyed me into this, as I was talking to a group of young firefighters, and I said, well, you know, like in Hackensack, and they looked at me like I was nuts. How do you not know Hackensack, right? So that really lit our fire. I'm so excited about this book. Again, Frank and I, we're donating all of it. Tunnels to Towers, Ray Downey Scholarship, Firefighter Cancer Support Network, and the First Responder Center of Excellence. There'll be no money in Frank or Billy's pocket for this. And I introduce each chapter. Then someone who was there tells the story. For example, Jeff Cool is going to tell his side of Black Sunday. Okay, and he did it with Chief D, so that he really got perspective from Joey's dad and stuff. And then Frank, at the end of each chapter, gives you a little lesson plan. So tonight you can teach that drill to your crew in the firehouse, and now they'll understand what happened in Hackensack. So again, I know we have such little time. There's so many people in the waiting room, in the fog room, whatever, you know, wherever they're at. But I wanted to share because Frank's a pal. We've had a lot of fun. I never worked with him, obviously. I was never a New York City firefighter, but we do have some commonality. I started in Long Island as a volley. I've had a wonderful career, and I'm still going. But we found this common thing of wanting to educate, wanting to train, and again, like the cancer thing. I'm a cancer survivor, prostate cancer. It was very aggressive. I'm one of the lucky ones, thank God. But when Frank started the push on the cancer issue in New York City, you know, I shared my story. And so here we are. Here's a guy. This is just chapter 1. You're done with chapter 1. There's a whole lot more chapters coming up in Frank Leeb's life. He's going to continue to impact people. I happen to sit on the board of directors of National Fallen Firefighters, and one of our subsidiaries is the First Responder Center of Excellence. We recently hired Frank as our executive director. So you've only just started, and now really without the confines of being stuck and having to go to work, what once a month you go to work or something like that. Now
you're calling that work?
Whatever it is, yeah, right. But I just wanted to share the story. I'm very excited about the book we're working on together. It's my pleasure to call Frank a dear friend and a brother. So I'll pass it to you guys if there's any questions or any comments or something from Frank or whatever.
When we talk about the book, when it gets closer to the release date, but you know, Kevin Kubler wrote one of the chapters of it. Chris Stewart, who will be on later, wrote a chapter to it. You know, Brandon Corey, who's in the chat. He wrote a chapter. It's going to be an amazing book in there, because the story is their story through their experience, and it's going to be an amazing proofreading it and making sure that the stories were. It is really good. So thank you for being on, Billy. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for educating firefighters and all you do.
Thanks, Billy.
Thanks, Bill.
Frank, and guys from Gettin Salty, thanks for what you're doing. You're providing a different angle to letting people listen who may not listen to some of this stuff. So thanks to you guys. Take care. I'll see you soon.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate it.
Take care. Be good.
All right, Ruffy, who are we bringing in next? I think we got to bring in the guy from Oklahoma. Who's this?
Yeehaw, stick it in your grandma.
I had like 3 people text me and tell me my game sucked, so I got to make up for it now.
Stick it in your pappy.
Let's go. Let's go. Tank, bring in Corley then. Let's go.
Let's go.
All right, boys, you know it. Most of y'all know him. You love him. He's a great guy. Chief Corley Moore coming at you live action from Oklahoma. Let's go.
I love it.
Okay.
Awesome to be here to celebrate Frank. I feel underdressed after looking at Kubes.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I should have known it was a black tie affair.
Yeah.
I am
right on.
Johnny come lately when it comes to Mr. Frank Leeb. Chief Leeb, I did not know him 3 years ago. So we actually met very, very recently. And I feel like anybody who talks about, I've learned that this is the unofficial salute when you start talking about Frank Leeb.
It's more like this.
Never done this before.
I forgot about that. Yes,
time.
I've never done this before.
But no, hey, absolutely. I think my favorite thing to do is when Frank has to speak early in the morning is to just try to keep him up as late as possible.
Sorry, I just had to slide that in there. No pun intended.
As late as possible, especially just say just one more, Frank. You don't speak till 7 a.m. It's okay. We got this. We got this.
Keep him out. Give him another one. What does he drink? I don't even know what he drinks. What does he drink?
I don't know what he doesn't.
Oh,
wow! And that's what a 2-year friend, Kubes. Can you imagine? That's what a guy knows for a couple of years.
Frank the Tank, baby.
I say when they said he's lost his party mojo, I was like, I would have loved to met the old one.
Yeah, that's Frank the Tank.
I busted, but no, seriously, I tried to bust his chops in Spokane, Washington, and it was terrible. It was terrible. I'm not good at busting balls, although I try. One thing I know is
he's doing pretty good, bro.
Frank absolutely has some of the best influence. I don't even know how he does it, because I remember we taught at a conference, and it was 8 hours of teaching, both of us in separate classrooms, and we're walking back to the hotel, and he's like, "Well, I'm going to go hit the workout room. What are you going to do?" And I was like, I wasn't going to hit the workout room. I can tell you that. Oh, okay, bro. Okay. See you later. So, of course, I had to be in the workout room.
He meant the one-arm curls, right?
Hey, those are for the girls.
I didn't even know the Chief Leeb worked out. Not being facetious.
Yeah, thanks. I don't have the gun show you have. I'm more of a cardio guy.
On 2-mile walks every now and then.
I heard that you and Tank like to take long walks in the sunset. Is that true?
What? Did we just become best friends?
Yep.
Sorry.
Oh shit! I can't keep up. One of my absolute, probably a memory I will take to my grave is Frank invited me and my son. My son's on the job. He's celebrating 3 years shortly, but Frank invited us to go to Metal Day at New York, and I will never to sit there and take that in with my son by my side, and to drink in the pageantry, the tradition, the just everything about it was something that I'll never forget. And I can never thank Frank enough for that. And my son, I know he appreciates it, but he doesn't understand how powerful it was yet. And so it was just, and I sat there in those stands and I say, how do you get this to the American Fire Service? How do you capture something that exists for 250 years here, that they've got that? How do you bottle that and take it away? And it's just something that perplexes me and I think about constantly. But absolutely, am so proud to call this man a friend. I don't have the war stories to go into the pump and smoke and ride in the back of the rigs, but I absolutely love him. Now, I was getting ready to mention two things. A, as far as I know, he's the only one who has a bestseller, a written bestseller.
Oh, look at that guy.
Oh, yeah. Such a sexy man.
He's an author.
He's a good-looking fella.
He is a really good-looking fella.
Yeah.
But I was also very proud that him and his wife absolutely wrote the foreword. I
didn't see that one. Broken
Tools. Yeah, but him and Lynn they honored me and my wife by writing the foreword to that book, our relationship book, and it really is an honor that they took the time to do so.
I didn't even know you wrote that book. What is that about? You snuck that in there, bro. Look at him. He's like a man of many talents. This guy.
He is. He's got a couple of books. He also has the 9 L's, which is a really good book. He has his own, he has his own podcast as well, which is why I said you guys got to go on his show, and he's got to come on yours.
I'm gonna get him on the show eventually. I will.
I'll go on the show, but
I love it.
You guys have.
I'm scared.
You guys have such similarities. I just think Firehouse Vigilance and Getting Salty coming together on the same show. I mean, even tonight, like that's pretty freaking cool. In my world, this is really cool.
It's even cool. The bromance you got going on you two. It's like, no, I love you more. No, I love you more. No, you wrote a book. No, you wrote a really good book.
That's like this.
Oh yeah. There's a new salute.
No, you have a podcast. Oh, but you're funnier, Frank.
You two, yeah. Well, anyway.
Yeah,
absolutely. I didn't want to follow. How do you follow Billy Goldfeder? Because he is like literally the mascot for the Getting Salty. All he needed was the fire helmet. He looks like
he's got Yosemite Sam. I don't know what he's got. He's got the Yosemite Sam going on.
The whole time he was talking, all I kept thinking about was Tom and Jerry when the guy was going crambone.
I was thinking the same shit. I couldn't think of the name of it.
Primary court and Heaton riding. Crambone.
I need a new guitar string there, nephew.
Nephew.
It was my honor to come on here and talk for a few minutes. I want to get out of the way of everybody else that's standing in line and waiting to come. But I wanted to say
thank you, brother.
To you, Frank, thank you for being my friend. I look forward to the next 32 years of hanging out and you busting my balls and vice versa.
Cool.
Thank you, brother. Max Point.
Nice
Have a great night. We'll talk soon. Thank you.
All right, bro. Take care.
All right, throw him out of here. Let's bring in the next guy.
All right.
What do we got? You want to bring him in, Tank, or should I bring him in? I like the guy with the. Who are you bringing in?
I'm gonna bring in Chief Hike.
I'll bring him in. He's got a cool shirt on, bro.
Yeah,
I like him.
All right. So my worlds are colliding with tonight.
Oh my
and
God.
I cannot tell you how happy I am about this and how excited I am about this. There's not very many people that love the American Fire Service as much as Chief Kurt Isaacson and Chief Frank Leeb. And the fact that I get to be with them both on Getting Salty tonight.
Pat, can I please see your hands above the desk, please? Well, he's trying to. I see what's going on. I see he's using his grandkids to clean up the show.
Keep us in check. It's a family show.
Hi,
Chief. Love you.
It's bedtime for her.
You know how I talk to you behind closed doors, busting chops? Your granddaughter probably should not be in earshot when I'm talking.
That's it, bro. So, Kurt, where are you from, Kurt?
Gulf Breeze, Florida, home of the Blue Angels, Pensacola.
Oh, cool. Oh, I think I talked to you. You're the guy that lives in the central time zone of the only guy in Florida?
Absolutely. The fucking only part of Florida. Every other place sucks.
I like this guy, bro.
Sounds like Gons needs to move.
Yeah.
I'm good.
You know those Coral Spring fucking...
Coral Springs? Never heard of it. Is that from New York?
Coral Springs? No.
Take it easy.
Take it job.
Take it easy. We have like seasons. We have winter, spring. Mike Champo's calling me. I can't talk to you right now.
Come on, Champo.
Hey, Mike, I know you retired on the same day as Frank, and you got more exposure to the fire service than Frank, but he's a chief. Hey, Champ, right now, while these guys are on here, when are you going to get on salty, getting salty with these guys? Hold on a second. I got to put you on the speaker here. This is Champo. We got to get this up. Go, Champ. Tell these guys you're going to get on salty dogs.
Hey, tell that Johnny Leeb I still got more time than him.
Champo says he's got more time.
He's got more time in the shitter that you got on the job, Leeb.
Yeah. Get in the sink, bro.
Hey, man, I'll jump in the sink. I got the dishes. I got them, bro.
Hey, love you guys.
Congratulations.
All right, buddy. Love you, man. I'll call you later.
All right, so
we got to get this. We got to get this out of the way. Frank's in fucking trouble because See, he retires and sends some fancy ass chief letter. Driver Joe sends it to me hot off the press. So we do this big post on CF Tactics. And then 2 days later, Frank calls me and I'm talking to him. He's like, yeah, Champo retired same day. Like, Champo's a family friend. Like, I've known Champo 5 times longer than I've known Frank. And I got shit like talking about how great Frank is. And one of my very closest friends, Mike Champo, retired the same day. So Frank's in a fucking doghouse.
Well, Driver Joe maybe should be in the door. Maybe Mike should have told you he was retiring.
Oh, is that how it works when you retire? It's now you're not responsible. You're not a fucking leader anymore. So it's the driver's fucking problem. I see how it works. So you went from a leader to a dirtbag.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that how it works? I sure as hell hope they're not teaching my kids at the University of Florida that same technique.
Yeah, I hope not.
I like what he's got on in the background there. Nice show you're watching there.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, my son put that up so I wouldn't miss it. He called me because I was like late because I was working on the boat that broke down. So he put that up to make sure I knew what the hell I was doing. My kids babysit me. But I don't want to hold up anybody else. So I got to put my stopwatch on like I do to people when they're speaking at a conference here. So I got my stopwatch going. Frank and I met 6 years ago at the UL Underwriters Fire Service Research Institute Coordinated Fire Attack Panel. It was real quick that I realized, you know, I grew up in FDNY Buff in 92, 93. I was looking to test with the FDNY, and I was not willing to give up and move out of where I live on the water and, you know, the beach and that sort of thing. And so I've always been in the FDNY Buff. So he's obviously, you know, he's for the FDNY. We're at the research. And I shortly realized it didn't matter what his rank was. He was a firefighter. He's a brother. He's into the job. And I just gravitated towards him. And, you know, him and a lot of other people in the fire service that mean a lot to me. One of the assholes, one of the best nozzle firefighters in the history of the FDNY is texting me, and his little sissy ass is mad because I won't answer his phone, but we're going to make sure we take care of this show here. We're huge influences. And, you know, like before I talk about Frank, I would like to say, because this show's predominantly about the FDNY, for all those listeners that have never met somebody from the FDNY or New York City Fire Department or been there, I've never, ever, not had anything but phenomenal experiences by meeting an FDNY firefighter, regardless of rank, being to a firehouse. And, you know, that is why the FDNY is what it is because jealousy is a bitch for some people. And I would like to say with that Frank is the epitome of that. He's like, he is the ambassador of it. And it was never disappointing. And there's no doubt that right off the bat, I was like, regardless of where this guy works, this is a brother, he's a firefighter. Like Goldfeder said, he's into the job. And what really was remarkable is his passion for, you know, his volunteer firehouse, Long Island, his family, his wife. And that means a lot to me. That was a big deal. And, you know, I only have 5 minutes, but, you know, you only have to meet Frank and like really talk to him for one night. That's all you got to do. You just, you know, if you connect with him, you connect with him, and it's one of those deals. It's real. And then you start to know him and you're like, this is not about the fire service. It's just about being around a person that truly cares about people and fucking never runs out of energy. And, you know, my whole life, I get exhausted with people that just don't have purpose and passion, you know, and the why in life. And he has that. And I'll tell you, you know, he didn't want to answer the question. I'm not the one to answer the question. He asked him when he was going to know about retirement. And him and I had conversations, and, you know, whenever that time happened in the past, I was like, man, you got to stay. You got to stay. You know, real FDNY firefighters go till 65. They time out. You can't be a chicken shit. You can't be a pussy. You got to fucking stay. And the other day when driver Joe texted me, I was like, the fucking time's right, man. This guy is the guy we need in American Fire Service to spread the FDNY message, the fucking Northeast message, not just cancer initiative, not just safety, but the whole balance of we still got a job to do to serve the public, get it done right. And Frank Leeb is the fucking guy that's got to be in charge to make the drive from being a volunteer on Long Island to the FDNY, coast to coast, and not judging people, you know, of how many fires they've been to or what companies they're assigned to. And for him to have the ability to be friends and test with guys like Chief Joe and Tom Richardson. And, you know, I'm a fucking buff of buffs for the FDNY. I know who those guys are. And then he can go the next day and talk to an 18-year-old volunteer firefighter and make them feel exactly the same. You know, Mike Ciampo's one of the other few people in my entire life that have that unique ability, and it's not fake. It's real. It's fucking legit. But I will tell you, behind closed doors, I bust his ass. I bust his chops. I punch him in the face. First thing he gets told every time he lands in Florida is, you're not fucking in charge. I'm in charge of CF Tactics. You do what the fuck I tell you to do, bitch. And that's how it works. And so at the end of the day, you know, I call him Chief Leeb to my son. And I got to tell you this, and I'm going to get the fuck off the show because I won't run out of words. 2 years ago on Medal Day was 3 weeks ago, I think it was. 2 years ago, he took my oldest son and I to Medal Day. And my son was going to do an internship at Columbia Hospital up in Washington Heights, 45 truck, go Ciampo. Congratulations, buddy. And I was going there, and I wasn't going to go at first. I was going to fly him up, and Mike Ciampo's like an uncle to my kids. Like legit like an uncle to him. They'll tell you that. And so I was going to fly him up. Ciampo was going to pick him up, show him around. Well, Leeb fucking took over. You know, he couldn't help it. He used his rank and his fucking stars. Y'all have those star things. We have bugles in the South. But, and he took over. And so we went up and we did Medal Day. And I didn't really understand the impact that it had on Trevor from, you know, Uncle Mike Ciampo showing him around Washington Heights at 1 o'clock in the morning to sitting in those white chairs, or him having a one-on-one conversation for 15 minutes with the Chief Joe Downey. And my son knew who that was, you know, growing up in the fire service and who his father was. And then this last year, the second time, Frank has my son and I, he's going up again to do an internship. My son's studying biomedical engineering at University of Florida. For what he's doing Alzheimer's studies at Washington or Columbia Hospital. And we do Medal Day again. And that was a year ago. Well, he comes home just before Thanksgiving, around October last year, and he's about to graduate to go to med school. And he says, I want to be a firefighter. My wife was like, you're graduating with a degree in biomedical engineering from the University of Florida. And Frank Leeb absolutely unequivocally taken our oldest son to Medal Day of the FDNY for 2 years in a row, changed the course of my kid's future. And I couldn't be more fucking thankful. Thank you, Frank. Congratulations on your retirement. You impacted a kid that could have gone to almost any med school to fucking be a firefighter. Him and my youngest son, who is like 4 months short of being 18, both have their application with the FDNY. They did the application today. Squad 18 was the front piece on the website. And my youngest is going to the University of Florida, where all three of my kids go to the University of Florida. But in the world of soccer, we have what's called the Messi effect in the United States now. There's what's called the Frank Leeb effect. And it's a fucking tsunami coming to the American Fire Service. And if you think it fucking affected the FDNY, get out of the way, because Frank Leeb's about to take the fire service to a great place. So God bless you, buddy. Thank you so much. Thanks for kicking ass, but I'm still fucking in charge when you come to my town.
Yeah. So, yeah, that is true. Thank you, Kurt, and appreciate you and your passion and what you do for the fire service and the down in Pensacola at County Fire Tactics, and it's great stuff. Thanks for your passion. Love the job, and I'll love you back, brother. So thanks so much for coming on.
We are the lucky ones.
We are the lucky ones, indeed. I'll see you in August.
Right. All right, buddy. Thank you.
Thanks for being here, Chief.
Kube, you're muted.
I said, I want the Joe Biden cocktail that Kurt is on over there, bro, because that guy shot out of a cannon, bro.
Yeah. He always
Holy Christ.
We saw him on the pre-show, right? I mean, that was like 2 hours
Oh,
ago.
my God.
He was slugging down the Guinnesses.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the hell. The first like 5 minutes, I was like, we're here to talk about Leeb here. You know what I mean?
I'm going to bring the next guy in because it's getting late and it might be past his bedtime. So I don't want him to, here's a guy who's near and dear to my heart, but he always spoke highly of Frank Leeb. As a matter of fact, he said that Frank Leeb is going to be chief of department one day. And here he is, bro. The man, the myth, not the man of few words. Chief Steve, there he is.
Yes,
Yes,
yes, dickhead.
Frank, I just want to say this, Frank, what he said. Because I got before me said, all right? I gotta go. There's no way I'm going to be able to say what he said.
No.
Yeah, it was almost like Joe Biden on steroids. I just couldn't tell what he was saying. It was too fast.
It was all good stuff.
When my brother told me you were retiring, Frank, a lot of thought. Can't believe it. I can't believe you're retiring. How many years you have, Frank?
32.
32 years. Wow.
Just 32 and a half, just under 32. So 31 years, 246 days, but who's counting?
I'll give you the other days, Frank. I'll give you the other days. No problem. I remember when you were snot-nosed lieutenant in 324, you know?
Oh, I knew that was coming, Frank.
Yeah.
Even then, I knew that you were going places, Frank. And,
tube socks? Did you have the tube socks back then?
No, he wouldn't wear white socks in 324 then, bro.
Hey, this isn't about me. This is about Frank. Let's
I'm sorry.
Well, I was asking if he was wearing the socks. That's all.
So Chief Steve liked me right off the bat because I was training, and I would tell him, he would like to go visit companies, and I would tell him, "Hey, Chief, we're going to go drill wherever," and tell him, if he wanted to come, come join us for drill. And so he was. We got along right off the bat always because I was doing what he wanted all the companies to be doing. So, and that was training and trying to be better. And so he would join us sometimes, and other times he'd be like, "Nah, I know you're drilling. I got to go make sure others are drilling."
Right. Because that's the way it goes, unfortunately. But you've gone in so many directions, Frank. It's amazing all the things that you've done through the years. And I know, for someone like me who really is detached from the fire service, you probably never will be in one form or another. Like I say, I don't even know what you're doing. All I know is constantly was, oh, Frank's in this school. Frank's going to this school. Oh, Frank's doing this. Frank's doing that. Frank's doing this. And I didn't even know how you found all the time to do all the things that you did. But everything that you did well. And the only thing you missed, Frank, like I said, I thought you were going to be chief of department. I really did think you were going to be chief of department, but that's a thing that's out of your hands because there's a lot of politics in that, and as I don't have to tell you, as you already know. But
there's a little bit of politics, but the truth of the matter is, the chief of training is where I really love to be, and because it's all about training and mentorship and teamwork, and those are the things that you really get to embrace and do in training. For sure. So, but you're right. I will not disconnect from the fire service. I will continue. And, it was great working with you. I've certainly gone to enough fires with you. That's
we have. We did. We went to quite a few fires together. We had, and I always was one of those guys. You were one of those guys that I knew I could depend on when I put you into a position and you gave me a report and I knew that was that. So I always appreciated working with you, Frank, and I wish you the best of luck in your retirement. And I don't have to wish you that because I know that you're gonna, like I say, that on the fire service side, everyone will know Frank Leeb by the time you're done. Whoever doesn't know you now, I don't know if there's that many people that don't. But by the time you're done, everyone will know your name.
How come you never told me these things when I retired?
You see that goofy?
Oh, I knew you were working.
That goofy shirt you're wearing, that's why. No one would believe that.
Listen, you don't got to worry about the fire service no more. You're right. You're disconnected. Just make sure you get out and fill those ATMs tomorrow.
I didn't know that was coming.
I killed myself. All right. All right, Chief. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. You got to get to bed now. What time is it?
It's almost 20 after.
Oh,
it's early. I gotta, have my warm cup of milk first.
You do? All right.
Yeah.
It's early, but it's getting late quick.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But best of luck, Frank. Congratulations, and I'll see you in August too, right? You'll be on the boat trip.
Yes, sir. I'm looking forward to it. That's right. So having so many people on tonight, it's great because now they're all invited to the boat trip next year because the boat trip is a great event.
Yep.
It is a fantastic event. Seeing so many great people on that boat, it's yeah.
And some guys get invited.
Some guys get invited what?
Every year.
Every year. Some guys get invited every year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You just punched the ticket for next year.
Yeah. See,
I'm
you just
bringing a guest this year.
Yeah.
Hold on, Chief Steve,
so
didn't he won a salty. That's why he gets the key.
Oh, he did with it. So you get invited forever now. You want a salty
lifetime,
award.
yeah.
Lifetime achievement
salty,
award.
you know.
That's
we gotta have
one of
another
my
one of
favorite
those.
things ever. That when he did that skit. That's
He
the
put
one
it
of
by
my
the
favorite.
toilet. See, guys don't know he's funny. Guys don't know that side of him, bro. I'm funny,
He's
Mikey.
funny. He's pretty funny.
Listen, we got to get some more guys on here. Thanks for coming on.
All right, Chief.
Frank, congratulations. Best of luck.
Thank you, Chief Steve. Appreciate it.
All right,
Have a
Chief.
good night.
All
Take
right,
care.
All right, get them on out of here. All right.
That's funny.
All right, who we got up next? Who's been sitting here waiting? Let's bring up Joey Tarantini from 138.
Here we go.
There he
is. Hey!
Wow.
What's up, Joe?
Hey, Chief.
Oh, there he is.
Congratulations.
Thank you, brother.
Let me
FDNY, man. He lives and breathes and he lives the FDNY way. This guy right here.
I appreciate that very much. I'll just say this. I never was in any of your study groups. I never vacationed with you or your family. Never was in a hot tub, nor do I want to be in a hot tub with you. Tank, I swear to God, I was about to break down when you were introducing Kurt. You were like a young girl at a new One Direction concert. That was beautiful.
Oh my God!
Hey, listen.
Fuck, we gotta get Tarantini on the show, bro. He's funny as fuck.
Yeah, that was awesome. So I'm not even sure why I'm on. I mean, with all the guys that you've had before me, I appreciate you asking me. The one thing I could say is that we're friends. We've always been friends from the day I met you to the time you retired, and I believe that we'll be friends thereafter. You were definitely a huge influence in my career, and all I could say is thank you. You've been an amazing person to a resource that I always relied on. I could text you any time of the night. I knew you were up. You were doing something, Buffy.
And you
I never
do,
had to
right?
worry
Even
about
to
you
this
being
day, he'll
asleep.
be like, "Hey, Chief, what do you think of this?" It's like 11:30 at night, and I'm like, I'll immediately reply whatever because you know what? Like even in my career, no matter where I've been, especially as a staff chief and a chief officer, when someone emails you or texts you that's working that tour, you owe it to them to get them an answer immediately. They're in the firehouse. They're doing it, right? You're in a support position supporting them that are getting on the fire trucks and the ambulances. And sometimes leaders forget that. And you must never forget that it's all about the brothers and sisters that get on the fire trucks and the ambulances and go out and answer the calls that come in. And if, just like when I would be citywide or chief of safety and I would respond to a fire, everybody that didn't respond to that fire emergency, they operated in a support position. And you better be able to support the mission, and you must understand where you fit in that. every single person that does not respond to a fire or an emergency is in a support role. You support those people. And that means getting them the answer, the equipment, whatever it is that they need, getting them that as soon as we possibly can. And that's where it becomes a challenge. So I need to hear a fire story. So I'm going to tell a fire story because I'm going to give one that I had with Joe. Unless Joe's going to do it.
No, you could tell it. But I want to preface this. I used to always preface every text by apologizing, whether it was 11:30, 1 o'clock. And then I'm saying, I'm not apologizing. This fucking guy never sleeps. So I used to start out by apologizing, then asking you a question because of the time. But then I knew that you were up all hours of the night. So the apologies went by the wayside. Go ahead. I know what story you're going to talk about.
Well, so I'm going to tell two, right? So because one of the text messages, right, was actually, I don't know if it was a text or a call. It was when I was working in the 4-6. It was the night of the Grenfell fire. And you said, hey, are you watching what's going on in London? Because we had spoke that I was going over there to speak at a tall building conference in a couple of days. That was working my last night tour. And I put the TV on and I took a picture of the TV because the entire building on the TV was on fire. And I had never seen anything like that, this full height facade fire. And then we had many conversations about that, but you were the first to tell me that. But then when I was working, I'm a lieutenant in 324 engine, and Joe is the detail to the firehouse. He's, we knew not to give the truckie the nozzle or the backup. We'd give him some other position.
I know you wanted to, though.
So we pull up to this fire. We're the first due engine, and it's in an area where no one could even, everybody's delayed getting there. And I got to preface this with the week before I had a fire on the second floor of a multiple dwelling, and they had a balcony. And when I got there, the flames were ripping out of the second floor. So I give the 1075, right, indicating a working fire, and I get out of the rig. And by the time I get to the front door, the people on the second floor push a mattress out, and the engine stretches the line. They put it out, and there was no fire inside the building. It was this mattress fire. So by the time the chief got there and everybody like, what'd you give a 1075 for? And so now I'm gun shy, right? I don't want to give a 1075. So we pull up to this dwelling, and all I see is heavy smoke chugging from the
chimney.
From the chimney. And I'm like, I'm not giving a 1075 because even though it's summer and there shouldn't be any smoke coming from the chimney, I'm going to verify it's a fire. So Joe gets around. He says, hey, I'm going to go see if there's another entrance. He goes around the back and he's like, Chief, give it 1075. He had heavy fire in the cellar. So we give the 1075. We start stretching the line. I go in the front door and we go over the fire all the way to the back to where he is at the rear. We should have just took it around the back, but we didn't. And so we go down and we put the fire out. Now the 5-2 battalion, Chief Duffy, who's an incredibly experienced chief, he gets there. And at this time now, the fire's out a whole bunch of windows. It was obviously a fire. And so he lays into me. He's like, why didn't you give the 1075? We got to be proactive. This is obviously a 1075. So he thought I was playing games, but I'm like, and I was gun shy because I had that other fire. And Joe was the one who found the fire and led us to where it was. We should have just went around the side, but I went to the front door because I'm trying to figure out if it's a fire as Joe was doing the 360 for us. And then we committed wrongly to the front. But eventually we wound up putting the fire out. But the moral of that story is give the damn 1075 so you don't have to get yelled at by the chief who's responding.
So Chief, one thing I want to just thank you for, you probably didn't know this. You just proved to guys that I did take details. Okay. And I did take details. I have worked in an engine, right? So that, and the
You're
thing
too
I took
tall.
away
You
from
don't work
that
in the
fire-
engine.
No, I know. You're right. But I did. That day I did. That was a daytime fire. So any misconceptions about daytime fire, summer fires, that disproved all of that. I had the door position. I should have had the nozzle. I had the door. I was feeding line down. And this is a lesson for all young firefighters. Make sure that you are geared up completely, whether you're feeding line in at the top of the stairs. So as you remember, I was feeding line in. I did have my helmet on. I didn't have my chin strap. And as I'm moving that line in, I took a step. I fell down the stairs. My helmet got dislodged. There was a tremendous amount of heat. I got a really good burn to the side of my face. I ended up finding my helmet, putting it back on. A lot of lessons learned for myself, right? You got to be prepared at all times, whether you think you're remote from the fire or not. I learned my lesson that day. I got some pretty good burns. I have scars to prove it and remind myself every day. But, I mean, it was one of those good fires, and I'll always remember the guys I worked with, yourself as the leader of that crew that day.
Yeah, and there's a lesson there. There's definitely a lesson there. Be careful when you have a truckie working in the engine.
Next time, give them the nozzle.
But also, Joe, when we needed somebody to drive the 4.6 for a couple of months, you stepped up and came over from 138 and did that as a senior member. That was appreciated, and it's always nice to have senior people drive the Chief, because as many of you know from my experiences with Driver Joe, he's invaluable, whether it's Driver Joe Wiz or Driver Joe Tarantini or others. So it's an important position. So
you still working, Joe?
I am still working. I just became a senior man in 138. It's a pretty cool honor, I guess. I was never one to study. It wasn't something I wanted to do. Yeah, I like being a firefighter. I have a lot of other things that I do on the side, on the outside of the fire department. So yeah, it's kind of cool. I don't know how long I'm going to do. Maybe I'll join. Is it Frank? Is that your first name? Frank?
We got to get him on, bro. When you retire, call me. We're getting you on, bro.
Yeah, that might be sooner.
Joe,
are
you still in Whitestone?
He'd be a fantastic guest.
I am. I remember
I used to teach
me and
all the
Louis
time in the
having,
bagel place.
Yeah,
and his son's on the job now too.
And my son's on the job,
right?
Yeah, he's in 301 150, the Hollis Hogs.
Okay.
Hogs.
And my middle guy is entering the NYPD Academy on Wednesday, along with my daughter's boyfriend. So, yeah, I'm nervous. I know what to expect in the fire department. This is a whole different ballgame, and I'm not going to say I'm not fearful, but I know it's in God's hands. So I'm hoping that he has a. And soon enough, he'll be in the FDNY.
Keep my number. So say call me as soon as you're done. We get you on.
I appreciate that, Kev.
Yeah.
Kev, Lou, guys, I just want to say one thing before I go. I had the privilege and the honor to work with some of the most amazing leaders and some of the most amazing teachers on this job. Oriole Palmer was my first captain.
Right.
The things that he used to point out to me, I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? But it really, it opened my eyes to some of the things I knew I needed to see and know about. So Oriole Palmer, John Maloney, an amazing captain. Some of the battalion chiefs that I got to work with, from John Osorno to Jack Kleehouse, who I stayed friends with on the outside. I continue to talk to. I talked to him today. Bobby Turner, Chief Moran, Chief Kubler, Cucurullo, and I don't know what the connection was with Frank. We just seemed to just bond. Whether it was talking about the Cockloff nozzle when it first came out, I asked him, why don't we operate this thing from a roof? Why are we putting guys and we bounce things off each other? We were going to do an article, a back to basics, which subsequently I did recently. It was something that me and him were going to do together. Frank, this is the first time I've ever called you Frank. We went down to New Orleans. We spent 2 weeks together for Hurricane Katrina. I am a big believer in the cancer awareness and cancer initiative that you started. I actually take a shower with Dawn. That's something that I do in the firehouse, out the firehouse.
She's hot, right?
Not her. Yeah, no. Chief Leeb was a big proponent of using Dawn when you got back, the new Salty and all that other stuff. I ended up taking it home and using it at home. It's awesome.
You guys didn't loop for each other's backs, did you? With the Dawn? No?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, not in the hot tub, Kev.
I was going to say, you said no hot tub, bro.
Did you wake up? Did you wake up to the crack of dawn?
Oh, I sure did. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Chief. I just want to say this in closing. Thank you very much. I know that I could call on you, ask you questions. I did recently when we talked about the Embellis fire just about a week ago. Thank you very much for all you've done for me. Thank you for all you've done for the guys in my firehouse. And more importantly, thank you for all you've done for this job.
Well, thank you for
when
what
we
you do,
lost
bro.
you in training, to me, that was one of the biggest losses that we ever had in this job. And it's unfortunate. But like we talked about the other day, the fire department, the firehouse will go on with us or without us. So thank you for all you've done. And guys, thank you for the podcast. I really appreciate it. Big fan. I love it, man. Thank you.
Well, you'll be on it soon,
careful
Joe.
out
Let
there,
us
bro.
know.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Joe. Take
Chief,
care.
I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Take care, Joe.
Let's bring in somebody that grew up with Chief Leeb, bro. Who do you want to grab? Let's grab Paul here, bro. There he is. Oh, he's muted.
Oh, there he is.
Now he's unmuted.
What's going on, fellas?
Hey,
How are
Paul.
you?
Paul,
What's
welcome
up,
to
brother?
the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Tell
much.
us how many times as a kid you kicked the shit out of Chief Leeb. I mean,
Oh yeah. So Frank and I grew up together. Obviously, we were like brothers, so we fought like brothers. So, definitely. Anyways, it's an honor to be on. There was a lot of heavyweights before me, so it's a little tough to go on after them. But thanks for having me on. You guys do a really great job. I do have a unique perspective on Frank. I knew him before he was on the job, so what you see now wasn't what he was back then, right? So I think on a recent episode of the Gettin Salty Experience, he mentioned that he hated high school, and I can definitely attest to that. I was right there next to him, hating it with him. We would have much rather been out playing street hockey or wiffle ball or something like that, or when we got old enough, going up to the firehouse and buffing and getting on the fire trucks, riding the back step back then. So after we graduated, I went off to the Army. I did a little over 4 years. When I came back, literally the day I got back from the Army, before I even went home to see my parents, I stopped off to see Frank and his brother Andrew, who another one who's like a brother to me. Really, the whole Leeb family is like my family, right? So, and it was, he told me he was about ready to get sworn into the fire department. I think he had a couple months to go, Frank. Right. So, but I did notice something different about him. I like, we kept in touch while I was in the Army. But when I came back, I noticed he was a different man. All right. So he was driven. And I could tell that getting on the job wasn't the finish line for him. I don't know if he knew it then, but I could definitely see it in him that he was gonna go places, and that wound up being the case. I think most of your audience know what came next, right? 32 years on the job, just never taking his foot off the gas pedal. Every accomplishment he made, he never rested. He always said, what's next? That was kind of how he operated. I remember back in 2008, Frank and myself and our families and a couple of friends of ours and their families, we rented a beach house on Fire Island for a week, right? And somebody mentioned about firefighters, how they like to let their hair down, right? So we definitely did a lot of that, and the afternoons into the evening, and Frank would be up the next morning, crack of dawn, going for his run. He'd get a beach chair. After he was done, he'd get a beach chair, umbrella, and he'd take his books down to the beach and study for 2 hours. Don't know how he did it. Don't know how he continues to do it. But yeah, that's Frank. So what's funny is I think it was Chief Jardin who mentioned that Frank's very persuasive. And I remember we were kids. Yeah. I remember we were kids, like we'd want to go hit baseballs and stuff like that, and he'd be like, "I got to do my Newsday route first," and he'd rope you into doing the Newsday route with him so you could get out there and hit the baseball. But I had an interesting conversation, I don't know, about a decade or so ago with Frank. I don't know if you were a captain then, but he mentioned to me that, which was surprising to me, that he really didn't want to go too much higher, getting promoted. And I was actually surprised by that. And I asked him, why is that? And he goes, I don't want to stop being a fireman. I want to be able to go in and do work with my brothers and sisters inside, So I was like, okay, fair enough. Makes sense to me. And then a couple years and a couple promotions later, what happened to that plan? And he actually struck a serious tone. And he was like, I feel like I've got a few things I need to say before all said and done. And he said, the higher I go up the ladder, up the ranks, the bigger my megaphone gets, right? The more people I can reach with my message. And I think you guys can all agree with me that, he's done well doing that. When he speaks, he's got a genuineness to him. He's got a passion. He reaches people and he brings them in. And, you can tell that he means what he's saying, right? It's from the heart. And, I gotta give it to him, right? So, and listen, thanks to you guys too, right? So, you guys have amplified his megaphone just a little bit, So thanks for that. And what's funny was when Frank asked me to do this, right? I'm like, be brief. I don't think I've ever told Frank a story where he didn't say, all right, Paul, land the plane.
Well, I like that. Land the plane.
Yeah, land the plane,
I'm
Paul.
stealing that.
So Frank, I'm gonna land
Makes
the
a
plane
short
right
story
here.
long.
What's that?
A short story long.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm famous for that.
I don't want to cut in on this, but something that Paul said that sticks out to me that's very important, I think, and is like what most of everybody else is saying. You said that he's genuine, right?
Yeah.
That's like if you're a teacher or if you want people to follow you or listen to you, you have to have that, right? You cannot be fake, right? You have to be real. So every time I talk to that guy, like you said, it's always genuine. He always has the best interest. You never feel like he's bamboozling you. You never feel like he's talking out his ass. And that's all these, these last couple of years with us, with the podcast, even on the job, I really always get the sense from him that he always cares 1,000%. There's
no hidden agenda while he's talking.
There's no fakeness, and that's why people follow. That's why
none whatsoever. So I mean, to that point, as I said, we've known each other for 1981, I think it was that I met Frank, and we've been. He's I hate to use this term because it sounds kind of grade schoolish. He really is my best friend, right? So we don't always talk all the time. We don't go on vacations like him and Jardin, but
you've never seen him in a hot tub.
I have seen him in a hot tub. I have seen him. But
what is this hot tub?
What's this hot tub?
Hey, they're great. They're great.
Land the plane,
dead of
Paul.
winter when you get out, you start freezing.
Land the plane, Paul.
Land the plane, Paul.
Listen, I was going to land the plane. I really was.
All right, let's let Paul land the plane. Let's land the plane.
Coming in hot.
So two more things, right? So to Lou's point, right? There's been a couple of times that I've had some choices to make in my life, and Frank's my go-to on that. You said he never talks out of his ass. That's not 100% true, but most of the time. So he's a trusted confidant of mine. We stay in touch all the time. Frank, congrats on your retirement, right? To our conversation earlier, I don't think there's a soul out there who thinks there'll be a time where you won't be a fireman. All right. You're connected to the fire service. The work you're going to continue to do. is gonna change lives. I wouldn't be where I am today without Frank, right? So he's a devoted family man. He's a fiercely loyal friend, lifelong friend of mine.
Love the comments. Planes out of fuel.
Okay, here we go. Good luck, Frank.
That's the guy to the side.
No, Paul, thank you.
Paul going to the rack unit.
Well, thank
I don't
you
even
so
know what that
much.
means, but I'm going.
I appreciate
You've done good. That's what it means.
Appreciate your friendship and appreciate your service in the U.S. Army as well. So thanks so much.
Second
Appreciate that, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
That pales in comparison to what you guys do.
Nah,
Thank you.
All right, thanks for bringing the plane in, Paul. We appreciate it. And
you got it.
You didn't do too bad.
I didn't do bad.
No.
Awesome. All right, come on, guys, get him
All right.
out of here. Let's get
All right,
somebody
see you
else
later.
in here.
You got to bring in ex-chief Dwayne.
He's waiting. Yep, get him on.
I can see him. He's looking lonely. Let me just see for another second. Okay, here we go. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there he is. He's out. He's out.
Yeah, sorry. Here we
I
go.
want to go to bed.
With him too.
He's like, come on, guys, I want to go to bed.
I see
I
him.
want to go to bed. I mean, you know, what do I got to talk
behind there.
about? This guy everybody else just did.
Yeah. Tell us something we don't know.
Yeah.
I'll talk about. I like Paul. I had the fortune of growing up with Frank. We went to school together. We joined the fire service pretty much about the same time. We joined. We were junior firefighters, and then went up the line in the volleys. I saw Frank's dedication from the beginning, because like Frank, he had his brother in. I had my whole family was in. My father, my older brothers were all members of the volleys, and when we went to high school, our dedication was really there because me and him, we had a house fire, and I don't know how we got. I think we had a pager with us in the fire because we didn't have phones then, and we charged out a door and almost ran over this poor aide who was trying to stop people from going out from the high school, and ran out, and then went on this call and ditched school because, like he said, like Paul was telling you, Frank wasn't great with school then, and then me and him worked together for a while in Estee Lauder. And the same kind of thing. He would pick me up, drive. We would carpool when we're going to work one morning, and we get a report of a house fire. And we're driving there, and here we are, 2 kids out of high school. We're just at the fire department about a year now in the fire service, to trying to debate, like, should we go or go to work? And then we were able to listen to a neighboring chief got on scene and basically went, hey, Cold Hard dispatcher, yeah, you have a working house fire, you have a house explosion, and by the way, I'm activating my whole department because of the size of this thing. So Frank, he turned any faster without wrecking his car and went and made first due out of our firehouse. So I like I said, I saw Frank, and the one thing I got to say, I listen to everybody here, and you talk about what he did for with the FDNY. I have to say, we had many members over the years who were city firemen, and some weren't bad. My brother was one, and some of them stayed with the volleys and helped out, and some just, kind of went with, hey, I'm a big city fireman now, and, blah, blah, blah. But Frank was always there for the volleys. Frank's been there. He's, that's where Paul was, saying about always want to be a fireman and a nozzle. Frank stayed in the volleys so he could always get the nozzle. Okay, and so he can still play fireman on that level, right? Don't tell me I'm wrong. Okay, but with that and his passion, and as everybody's been talking about, when I had the fortune of becoming assistant chief in charge of equipment, that guy would make me buy everything for him. Just go protect the fire department. He was one of the ones that pushed us to get equipment to decon on the scene. Okay, some of the equipment for cleaning up after the firehouse, so his heart, like everybody's been saying, his heart is in the right place. It's in the fire service. It's not just in FDNY. It's not in anywhere else. It's in the whole fire service. So that's Frank. He was also a ball hog when we had a hockey team, a deck hockey team, right, Frank? Remember that?
We want to know what he did for Estee Lauder, honestly.
Yeah, I was going to say, Z-Cap selling cologne.
Lipstick tester.
Yeah, thanks, Dwayne. Thanks for that nugget.
The other thing,
You
though,
didn't think we were gonna let that slip by, did you, bro?
No, it's the right time to bring it back.
Yeah.
Another
Hey,
quick
Chief,
little
let
thing.
us- I was going to let that slip by. I wasn't going to.
Hey, we're on our way to a job at Estee Lauder.
We get my blush.
I left
I
the
get my
water
blush and my
to
lipstick
the
first.
Yeah.
I'm pulling the instant replay flag.
Cosmetics.
No,
I
but
was actually thinking cosmetics at the time. But so I want to add on Dwayne's story about we're in high school and we get that report of a house fire and we go running out this door and the poor ladies there were running to my car so we can go to this fire. And she's like, I know who you are. What's your name? So I turn around and I scream, Paul Partain. And he wasn't even with us. It was just Dwayne and myself. And we wound up going to the fire. And I don't even know if I ever told Paul that we told that lady that it was him.
Who's this guy?
no, but Frank's always been a great support. And
Ramirez,
like
guy works by me.
whatever fire service when he's teaching. I mean, he's a good motivator. He got me to write an article for Firehouse and then actually end up going to Firehouse and doing a lecture there. So Frank's the guy who pushes everybody else along too. He'll bring everybody else along with him. He's not just the rising star. He likes to bring all his friends and everybody along with him, and that's a great leader.
That's what he said about Richardson. So now you're doing the same thing. Good for you. Excellent.
Well, yeah, Dwayne, thanks for joining us. Dwayne actually was the incident commander, or I think he was the incident commander at 4 different. Talk about planes, right? So, he was the incident commander at 4 different plane incidents in our volunteer department when he was chief. We have an airport nearby, and sometimes they miss the runway, and he was the incident commander at a bunch of them. But so Paul just heard that. Yeah, sorry.
Land the plane, Paul.
That's freaking awesome.
He can't give it up.
That's awesome.
All right.
So
Thank
I
you, brother.
will land the plane. Frank, congratulations. You deserve whatever you get. And you guys, listen to your podcast. It's a great show that you do. And thanks for doing this for Frank.
Thank you, brother.
All right, bud. Have a good night.
All right, get that guy out. I'm done with this guy.
I'm done with this guy.
I'm gonna bring in one guy right here.
So the other thing, so at Estee Lauder, I was at Estee Lauder for just
Oh,
over 4
boy.
years.
You don't got to explain anything.
No,
It's all right.
you got to explain nothing.
No, worry.
Explain to nobody, Lucy.
You got to explain
That's where I met my wife. So
All right.
it was a good experience.
So you were trying on a red
Perfume
lipstick, and
department.
she was like, "Oh, Frank, I love that lipstick on you," and that was it. It's love at first sight. Let's bring in this guy right here, bro. The fattiest of daddies, right there, bro.
You caught me by surprise.
Oh, he was in the
I was
cave.
hoping you were like picking your nose or something back there.
I'll go knuckle deep just for your cubes.
Yeah.
Brother Ray.
Brother Frank, I tell you, congratulations on your retirement. I'd love to come up with some bad stories about you in 270, but I can't say a bad word. When 270 started, there were a lot of leftovers that didn't really fit in. So there was a lot of discourse, but you were never one of those guys right when you gave up to everything you did. I remember this young-looking guy that came to the firehouse, and I said, "Wow, he looks like he's 12 years old." And you haven't changed. You're still like 20 years younger than you actually are. So I don't know what you're doing, but keep it up. And the other thing is, I remember, you seemed sort of naive. So we would give you a hard time about being so young looking. And I remember I used to call you Cutlet. But we won't go there. So we'll leave that alone.
Oh, we're going to go back.
We won't go there.
We won't go there.
But we won't go there.
But since everything's going so long tonight, I just want to say one thing. When you got promoted, we had a company racket right after you got promoted, and I remember saying 270's loss was the job's gain, and that is absolutely so true. You've done such a great job. You've been such a fantastic representative of 270 and the people that work there. that you were such an asset to the company. So have a great retirement. Stay healthy. Continue your great job. Don't stay the course, Frank. You're fantastic. Keep it up, brother. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Fat Daddy.
Fat Daddy.
Oh, wait.
Chief,
there you go, Chief. You can talk now.
He was the Ray had the sharpest tongue at the table, slicing up everybody, no matter what you did at the table. And no one was immune to that. So I was expecting to get sliced up by Ray just now, but Ray, really. So guys like you and so many other people that we had in our company that had your type of time, Tommy Bone, Dave Dangerfield,
Greg Haynes.
Greg Haynes. I mean, just the people, Donnie Schneider, the senior people in that company that we were able to learn under guys like me that I had 5.5 years on when I came to the squad. And I was just to be able to learn from all of you people was, from the senior people that were in that company were just really, really,
One of the
amazing.
best things was having guys like you, Frank, that we could teach, that were receptive to gaining that knowledge, to learning from other guys' experiences. You guys were sponges and just gave big mouths like me such an opportunity to talk. And thank you for that.
Well, thank you. Appreciate you being on here. Definitely pay your cable bill. And your internet bill. I don't care if you pay your cable bill.
All right, Ray, me and you going off a little Maker's Mark next week.
Oh, I hope so. I need it. Frank, good luck. Stay safe. Stay the course, brother.
Thank you, Ray.
All right, Ray.
Be good.
Thanks, Fat Daddy.
See you.
See.
All right, let's bring in Mr. Chris here. Chris Stu has been waiting for a while, and then I'll bring him in. There you go.
There he is. Boom. Hello, Mr. Chris.
Boom. What's up, Chris Stewart? How are you, brother?
Yeah, I'm great. Hey, I got to come clean though a little bit because you called me on Friday and you're like, hey, are you familiar with the podcast and all that? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely, man. I listen quite a bit. I listen to Chief Richardson and Hodgins and all the folks on there. And then you said, yeah, we're going to talk about Frank Leeb. And I go, yeah, it doesn't ring a bell.
Leeb.
Yeah, not even sure. Yeah.
You should have said what part.
Wow, I feel weird.
What part is this?
Yeah, well, you mean the first show, the second show, the third show, the fourth show, Leeb? Which one?
Fourth, not included in the special rock episodes.
So it did dawn on me that I go, oh, I vaguely remember him. So I worked out in Phoenix, and we ended up kind of like Kirk was talking about earlier. We would end up on this same gig for UL, doing burning some houses and apartments and strip malls and all I remember about Frank the first time I met him is how much he talked about loving fog nozzles. I've never been around somebody that had that kind of passion for him, and it was inspiring, right? And to the point where most of us were uncomfortable about it, but it was we got through it, and we actually were able to put some fires out doing that, and hopefully we learned some stuff, and then started sharing that with the fire service.
Where are you at? You're out of Phoenix. You're a chief in Phoenix.
Yeah, I was kind of like Frank. I was the training chief in Phoenix for a while, and I retired in 2022, and then I work in a small fire district here on the outskirts of the Phoenix system. So yeah, so Frank, I'm like the West Coast representative. I feel like in this whole deal, and so. Frank's connection is as much as he's connected in the FDNY, he's got connections outside the fire service has earned his way into the hearts of the American Fire Service. I wish I had 10% of his frequent flyer miles at this point. But so like we're working on this stuff and we're trying, and I know he's working at training, trying to adjust some stuff that we've learned and the way the FDNY does things. And there's those of us around the country that are trying to do the same thing. And he was fantastic at sharing and taking the resources that the FDNY has that like no other department has, and being able to influence places all over the country, big, little, didn't matter, right? And so I actually had him come and speak. I had him, he was coming in for, to be the guest speaker at some big thing here in town. And it was literally like 24 hours after the Twin Parks fire. And I had already talked him into coming and, hey, can you come and talk to some of my folks? And he was like, absolutely. But I could see the second we pick him up on the plane, he has not slept since he went to that fire. And, but still shows up, talks about everything, gives them firsthand experience, for folks that are sitting, 5,000 miles across the country, and talks about it like connects with firefighters, connects with chief officers, does all of that. And there's really very few people in the fire service that can actually do that in a real, legitimate, credible way. I had the pleasure of working for one of the greatest fire chiefs ever, Alan Bernstein, for the first 15 years of my career. And there is some huge similarities in Frank to things that I saw in Bruno being our boss for as long as he was. And so I'm just super appreciative. I don't know how the hell I got on here. And I made the list, but I'm really, really thankful. And I really appreciate what Frank's done for me, what Frank did for my department, what he's doing for the fire service. Apparently the FDNY, feels the same. And that's pretty stinking cool.
Awesome.
His years in the Phoenix system and now what he's doing. And I met him by being engaged and involved in the fire service on the tech panel, which is where I met Kurt Isaacson and where I met so many other great people. So, be involved, right? We need people on NFPA committees. We need people to sit on different committees with UL and whatever, all those different local committees that are out there. David Rhodes said it at FDIC this year, right? We need a revolution of our younger people in the fire service getting involved. It's our fire service. It's your fire service. And when you get involved, you have the pleasure of meeting like-minded people like Chris and the work that he's doing there. And hey, man, I'm appreciative of you and all you do for the American Fire Service as well. Certainly outside of Phoenix in the Arizona area. But thanks for coming on, Chris. I appreciate it. And I just got to clarify the fog nozzle comment because nobody ever said, I need a fog nozzle right away. Never. You need it. Yeah. So take your fog nozzles and I don't care what you do with them. They're good.
He's getting a little brazen now. Granddaughter must have went to bed or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So is a retiree.
All right, Chris. Thanks for coming on, brother.
Thank you.
All right, man.
Thank you, Chris.
Right. You betcha. Take care, guys.
All right, this other guy right here, bro. I just had a conversation with him. Some of the best times. You talk about the best times in your career. I didn't work with Roofy enough. I left. I retired when Roofy first got there. But this guy right here, we had some fun as my lieutenant. We made impacts at fires.
You got wine with him right now?
What?
You have a glass of wine with him?
He might have a glass of wine. I don't know. I'm not sure. But let's bring him in here. I call him Triple T.
Oh,
there he is.
Oh, Tony T.
Tony T in the house.
What's up, Tone?
Good to see you, boys. Good to see everyone.
What's up, my brother?
Frankie, I have to say, when I saw it come down the pike the other day that the legendary Frank Leeb was packing it in, I was utterly shocked, man. But God bless you. I'm actually happy for you, to be honest with you. The other two guys at the top of the screen up there, they can tell you. I know it's going to be a little hard to imagine right now, but there's life after the FDNY, and with the amount of time and effort that you put into it, and that cliche, you leave the job a little bit better than when you found it. Well, there's certain guys that go 1,000 miles past that. You're certainly one of them, but I was shocked because I thought for sure they would be pulling you. Your nails are scratching across whatever desk you're hanging onto at that point. But obviously, you made a smarter decision than we would have figured, man. So.
Listen, I appreciate you. Appreciate you being on the show. So Tony had an interesting way of getting his way in anything we did in the firehouse. He'd be like, "Hey, should we do it this way or that way? We're going to do it that way, or I'm going to bash your fucking head in."
I was one of the
Tony's way, right?
I was one of the young wing nuts with you. Actually, you had a little bit more time. There was you, and then the Pez head, right? Our friend the Pez, and and then Vinny Tavella. We were the young group in 270. As the charter members that got picked by the legendary Tom Richardson, and you guys up top also were charter members, so you know what it was like in the beginning to start something new and also be kind of like the actors crossing the picket line or whatever it may be, like people were pissed off. So I think that grew everyone a lot closer together. And I think anytime, especially if a charter member who went on to the stratospheres like Frankie did, you have a special bond with those guys. And all the things that all the other guys had said, and obviously you've had a lot of guys on. I mean, it all is legit. Even amongst you had the Ray Seelys and the Tommy Bones and all the legends that Frankie talked about, like in the 270, the older crew that would smack us younger guys around a little bit, and then young wing nuts like me and Tavella always getting in trouble and mouthing off and wanting to beat people up and go down into the basement. And then Frankie was kind of like that calm cruise through the middle, like, all right, you don't need to do that, and let's try to keep it, let's try to keep it sane. And yes, his motivation and his energy level were, through the roof. And another little note, I was part of that legendary study group, except I only made it to captain. I was the dumbbell of the group. There's always a runt in the litter. Well, it's one of my proud things. They say, "Oh, the guys I studied with, they're all staff chiefs now. So what happened to you?" And I'm like, "Well,
Hey, Tone, I had Corrado. Here's another. All of those guys went to Chief too in my study group.
And look where
I had. Nope. Yeah.
And I'm going to elaborate on the cutlet thing, because I'm glad like Ray kind of stayed pretty calm on it. Like, you look at Frankie now, he still looks like young. And when like Ray said, when he was in the firehouse, he looked like some kind of young kid. And man, you were like, and he's a lean guy, still is lean to this day. Some of us not so much anymore, but he's still in. I was like, man, you look like a chicken cutlet. That was it. Called them cutlets from that day on. The rest of us were fat bastards, and he was lean. So what do you got to do? You got to go after him. And
you never actually, Chief Leeb, you never actually took a handset and banged it against the windshield and threw it out on the parkway, though. Did you do anything like that?
No. I left that stuff for Tony. Tony and Vinny Tavella. Tony and
for the record, I can understand where Tone's frustration came
right.
from that.
What about threatening your chauffeur with bodily harm? What about that? If you don't get me in first due, Kubes, you're dead.
For the record, I might have done that. It happens in 288. I don't know what happens over there.
I have definitely seen the T-Man threaten many people. There's no doubt. There's no doubt about that. And so he mentioned he was part of the study group, right? And on September 11th, we were supposed to meet at his house that morning for study group. Our lieutenant's test was supposed to be in October of 2001. And obviously we never had that study group that morning, but I've known Tony a long time. He's one hell of a firefighter. And when you think about people that you didn't think were going to retire, he's certainly someone that I thought would never retire, right? So if Tony can retire, well, then I can.
Yeah.
When he retired, I called him up. I'm like, "Are you freaking kidding me? Did I hear this right?" Like,
I was right, baby.
What are you talking about?
Listen, what did I say to you when you were screaming at me at the top of your lungs that you're going to kill me?
Yelling is not helping this at all. I was like, I don't give a. You're going to that building that's on. Because I'm like, I'm looking through the schoolyard. And we told this story before. I'm looking through the schoolyard. This was a 4-6 fire too, Frankie, before you were in the 4-6. Fire pulling out the rear of the building, and the rig starts to turn left. I'm like, whoa. Oh no, we're going the wrong way here, Brody. I go, where you going? He's like, I'm going to the address, you know. And I'm like, no, you're going to that building that's on fire. And if we get beat in, I'm fucking killing you. I'm going to kill you. It's like, what'd your friend say, Frankie? What's better than having the nozzle? Well, now I'm going to be the engine officer. And the funny thing is, at this fire, we had a new guy in the company, and came from a unnamed truck in Manhattan that was the best guy in his company. And you know, we get to the fire, and it's a good job. And to the Kubes' credit, he did get us in first due. Reason being is it was in a funky place and everybody got lost, so we kind of got in first due by default, and some persuasion of death. But you know, it's all good. And we get in, and you know, Kubes always got us caught. Everything's going good, and we're moving the line in, and the kid's like, "It's hot, it's hot." I'm like, "Yeah, man. It's a fucking fire. Now keep moving." It's hot. We're not melting. We're all good. We're cooking. We're all alive. So, but
maybe this squad thing isn't for you.
Oh, good times, bro.
Hey, Francis, I wanted to say too, like Tom was saying, he was the runt of the litter. But when I came back to SOC, Tom was running the SOC task force, right? He was the captain in charge there doing that. And similar to you, like I looked up to him because that took a lot of work. We were doing the logistics, and for years and years and years, that guy, for whatever hair he had on his head left, he was pulling his hair out because he did a lot of work, man. And
whoa with the hair remarks. Take it easy.
Take it easy. I just Tone did a lot of work for that. He got it up and running, and like he said, you leave it a little bit better than how you found it, and he definitely. When he left, he did a great job with
You know what he reminded me of, Gonzo, a little bit?
Who?
He reminds me of you talking to my friend O'Wrong. That's how this is what you reminded me of.
Hey!
But you know what
You're talking to my guy all wrong. It's wrong tone. Do it again, I'll stab you in the face with a soldering iron.
And you know what, Lou?
Listen, Lou, I appreciate the nice words, but like you look at, you know, and you take that whole thing that, you know, we worked together on that on some really cool deployments. And that's kind of like really minuscule to what Frank, and I thought the way he put it when his buddy was talking about that he wanted a larger voice, because going from captain to chief is a big jump because you're kind of not front line anymore. You know, you got to, you know, like being a lieutenant or a captain, you're still bringing the companies in, you're still going in, you're crawling down the same hallways, and you make that jump. And he wanted a bigger voice. And then once he got it, it was like, boom. And when he became the chief of the fire academy, I said, man, and I was still on the job at the time. I said, you know, there's going to be no better guy because his level of motivation was incredible. And then as he went up and in all the different projects that he got in, like when they tell you you become a lieutenant, you got to get like the 10,000 foot view. And then the captain, you got to get the 30,000 foot view, and then the chief, you're getting a bigger view. Then you get to the staff level. It's not like some stuff dumbbells like us don't even think about, but just think about the view or the vision that you have to have. And then, you know, politics, that's all politics. Like, you know, I would have failed miserably because I'm a really bad politician, but he was able to navigate all that and then make really consequential. And you look back at it and you go like, holy shit, man, that was little Frankie from the squad, man. And now he's super staff chief and Chief Jardin too. Like, you know, those were the guys in my study group. So that's always been a bragging point of mine. And those guys really had a profound effect on the job. We had a profound effect in like little areas.
Yeah.
Making a difference at a job or getting a SOC task force or something like that up and running. But then you look at like job-wide stuff and fire service-wide. Forget about job-wide. Some of the initiatives these guys have worked on. And you were, what's that California college you guys all went to that you were all super wizards? What was that?
The Naval Postgraduate School.
There you go. You know, that college you guys went. Oh, yeah. The Naval Postgraduate.
Hey, what's that called?
I was
That's
school you went to. And this is why he became a staff chief.
Excellent.
Well, I tell you what, Lou, I want to touch on the point that you made because Tony, you know, is a rock star with the FDNY and what he accomplished, right? So, everybody doesn't need to continue to promote, right? Whether you're talking about Joe Tarantini or Joe Wiz, and as their impact as firefighters, right? They're incredible firefighters. And Tony stops at captain, and he does incredible work. I mean, that's the beauty of it, right? But the jobs they need good people to continue to promote as well. And I felt that it was in some ways, especially at the deputy and staff level. And I tell this to people that are in smaller organizations that are like, I don't want to become a chief. And I'm like, sometimes it's not about you as the individual. Sometimes it's bigger than you. You got to do it sometimes for your organization. And it doesn't mean you have to do it for a long time, because the bottom line is, like I said earlier, I love going to fires. And I studied myself out of a good job long ago as far as going to fires. But the FDNY has a very, very deep bench. And we've seen a lot of them on here tonight. Every single person that's been on this show tonight that you have had as a guest is an all-star in their organization, in their position. They own their seat in what they do or have done for their organization. And I think that's the greatest compliment that I can give to them and to Tony, is that you have owned the seat in what you did and made it better. And every single guest on tonight has done that in their organization.
Well said, my friend.
Yes, for sure.
That's why he's a staff chief again.
That's why you're a captain, and I'm like, you're a captain, and my knuckles are dragging on the sidewalk, basically. So.
Another aspect of when he got promoted, and I know you guys got other guys, is like he talks about the voice and coming from special operations and being in SOC companies, all of us for most of our careers, having chief officers that came from SOC was vitally important for people to realize how to utilize SOC. And on the battalion level, we're going to probably get put to work in the 4-6 when Frankie's working more, but now go up to the deputy level and now up to the staff level, where there were people that just had predetermined, connotations about the squads and the rescues and whatever it was, how much they hated SOC, or they hated SOC and they didn't even know why they hated SOC, or they just didn't know how to use them. Well, then you have guys like Frank that can kind of sit down, and especially a guy like Frank that wasn't as combative as, say, some of us were,
right.
And be able to get the message across and kind of educate people to say, like, look, this is the capabilities and this is what these guys can do. Don't be foolish and let ego get in your way and, go stick them in, go search the garbage pail down the block when you have a really serious operation going on. So that was always another, huge, huge benefit. And then now you go to the staff level, it's a whole nother thing. So.
Agreed. Again, well said, Steve.
Yeah.
I still say the best time I ever had in my life, in my career, was working with you, bud. Excellent.
I appreciate it, man. It was awesome. I told you, it's like playing on a Super Bowl team, You get to do it maybe once or twice in your career. It's a wonderful thing. And, you can go to your retirement. I hope you have a long, healthy, and great retirement, Frank. You earned it, man. You definitely earned it, brother.
Definitely did.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you being on tonight. Always good to see you, my friend.
Same here.
Thanks, T. I'll be reaching out to you.
All right, brothers. Be well. Great seeing you guys.
All right, man. Be good. See.
All right, Johns.
All right.
Let's bring in a guy who's probably spent more time in a car with Frank Leeb than anybody I know. We had trouble getting him on, but I just texted him and he popped back in there because I knew Chief Leeb would want to see him. And here he comes, bro. The one and only. Say it, Rookie. You know him.
Coming to the stage, firefighter Joe Wiz.
Whoa!
There
he is. Chief in quarters.
Brother Joe.
So yes, Chief, to cut you off, I own that. You sent that letter to me in a text, and I knew 15,000 guys knew it in about 5 minutes, but your other 15,000 guys didn't know it. So that's why I sent it out. So I own that.
I don't know what you're talking about. You want to let us in, or is this a little secret we're playing?
No, his retirement letter.
Oh, his retirement letter. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sent the letter. I made 3 one-page letters, and I sent one to the FDNY staff chiefs. I sent one to the safety command, and then I sent one to the battalions and divisions. And because ultimately, right, the work of the FDNY staff chief is 24/7, and you know, I wanted to make sure I sent something to them to express my feelings. I wanted to send one to the safety command because that's where I've spent the last little over a year. And quite frankly, in the safety command, I never really got to do some of the things that I would have done in the safety command for various reasons. But the members of the FDNY that work in the safety command are an amazing bunch of people. They have the best interest of the FDNY firefighters at heart. And I wanted to let them know that I apologize for not being able to be as engaged as I would have liked to have been. There was unfinished business in the safety command when I left there, and then one to the divisions and battalions because I couldn't possibly call or see everybody, and I wanted to let them know how much I care for them, the job they do, and how much I love the FDNY. And you know, and this way people knew that I was leaving as well. So, but Joe had a copy of that, and you know, and forwarded it, and it got shared on the internet a little bit.
Well, first I thought it was a text of "Where are you?" As the staff chief driver, you get 12 to 24 texts a day going, "Where are you?"
True.
And this long is not like being a citywide, 24. You pick him up at 6:30. He's working till what, 10:15? So I'm used to this. This is a piece of cake. Besides going to fires, besides being at the fire academy, besides doing, this guy did more firehouse visits and spoke to more people than I have ever met in my career. So,
how long did you drive it for, Joe?
Just short of 3 years. Because you guys heard the story between Chief Jardin and Leeb. Chief had to go away for a little while, and then Leeb called me. The chief called me, and it was like a Saturday, I believe, right? And he goes, "You now work for me. We're going to the fire academy on Monday." I hung the phone up. I turned to my girlfriend and go, "Holy fuck, I'm going to Disneyland." Because I got more toys to play with at the fire academy than I did at headquarters. So that was awesome. And he brought me on and gave me opportunities for classes, for working with guys closely, watching the ion battery fire testing. We did a whole bunch of stuff at the fire academy. That was fun.
So you guys get to know each other pretty well, spending that much time together, right?
Well, we call it the cone of silence. You hear conversations and you don't say anything about it. But the one time we did have fun, Chief, if you remember, I think it was for the professional development class, like the second day. And you were on your computer. The man's on the computer, on his phone, emails, tips from training, everything. And I'm just sitting there, and my phone goes off. So I try to drive and put the phone near the steering wheel to like stop it from ringing because I know he's trying to concentrate. And a heavy metal song comes on. So he stops what he's doing and he goes, "You like the band Zebra?" And I go, "Absolutely, I love the band Zebra." So he goes, "All right, let's listen to it." So he closes everything up. He gets it on the F-150 pickup truck, which has a great sound system. So we're driving along the Grand Central. I get through Astoria. We get over the RFK.
Your head banging.
Then he goes, "Well, we're coming down now into the main gate at the Rock." And he goes, "Now we're going to have some fun." Roll all the windows down, and he turns it to 11. So now you guys know when you get to the Rock, you pass that main gate, you drive through the parking lot, you go through the second gate. Everybody's out there already. They're doing landscaping, they're doing the chauffeur school, there's guys reporting for rescue school, and everybody looks because they want to see who's driving by. And it's just the two of us just sitting there going, this hard rock band playing out every window of the pickup truck. We laughed. We parked the car in his spot, and we laughed for about 4 or 5 minutes because that was great that we were able to just detox for an hour sitting in traffic.
Got to be sad that you guys aren't hanging out every day now, right? A little bit like you lost.
Yeah, we text,
we text, we call.
here and there, you know.
As a matter of
Yeah.
fact,
You know.
as a matter of fact, Chief, to keep track of you, because you know those thousands of "Where are you?" texts, and I'm usually like, "I'm in the car, Chief." So, with a little persuasion, a little paying of favors, and a donation to the Fire Academy, I got you this.
Oh.
And then you can wear it on your belt. And I got one for me, so you can always know where I am.
Joey wins.
So I'll drop them off to your house.
Thank
Who are you driving now, Joe?
Nobody, myself.
So Joe retired on May 9th.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So and Joe, we had talked about, you know, that I was going to be leaving soon
Yes.
as well. And to his credit, he was willing to. He said, "I'll stay until you leave, Chief." And I said, "No, Joe. You know, you gotta make sure you get out." You know, it was, you know, the pension and all. It was the best opportunity. And I said, "Get out." He was willing to sacrifice that to stay. And I said, "No, get out." So he told me the water's good on that side.
Yeah. Nice
You
and
know,
warm.
and I let him. So it's interesting. I let him drive Chief Jardin long enough to break him in. So when I got Joe he was ready to become Driver Joe. You know,
Driver Joe.
Joe, when I ran it, Joe, when I ran
What
it, when
an
was that?
honor to be included in his book.
Oh,
And
sweet.
Another story in the Cone of Silence. He gave me the chapter and said, "Read this. It's all about you." And I got to the Fire Academy, and my desk was just outside of his. And I'm reading it, and I'm on the way home, and I'm thinking all afternoon now. On the way home, I go, "Chief, you can't do this." "No, absolutely not." He goes, "Yeah, I can." I go, "No. Think about all the other chauffeurs that you've had through your career and what you learned from them. Now, I mean, I'll take a blurb. That's okay with me, but you're not going to write a whole chapter." And he said, "Okay, that sounds like a plan." Right?
Modest man, too,
That's
Joe
how we
is.
worked that chapter out.
that is true. That is 100% true. Yeah. And listen, that's just the way he is, right? He's there's a reason. You know, he wound up driving me and sticking with me, and why he wanted to stay. And we would get to the Fire Academy in the morning. We would have a great time whether I was chief of the Fire Academy or chief of training. And I'd say, "Joe, do me a favor. Just take my bag up to the office." And he'd open up the office. He'd put my stuff in there. And then when it was time to go home, I'd be like, "Joe, do me a favor. Can you go get my stuff from the office?" Because I never got up to. There were many days that I never even got to my office.
Yeah.
I just walked
That's
around
true.
talking to people, you know, or on my phone and be in a meeting. I wanted to. There were so many people that would come to the Fire Academy that I really had a finger on the pulse of the job from just talking to people and letting them know that you know, that you care for them and that that you have their back. And my people knew I always had their back.
Two other stories was the first funny one is we were doing a citywide just about this time, and you were looking out your office window up at Building 11 and texting me, "Where are you?" And go tell me why Building 3 is still on fire. Because tactical left the hay bins burning, and it was windy. It was like 25, 20 degree, 20 mile an hour winds. So from his window, he sees me open up the back of the pickup truck, put my phone on the tailboard, grab my gear bag, and I start gearing up because I'm running into the. He calls me on the phone like I'm halfway there and stride. "Do not go in there by yourself. Just tell me what's going on."
Joe was doing it.
Yeah. Just tell me why my building's on fire.
And was your office up in that turret? Remember they used to say the office was up in that turret?
Yeah, so the chief of the Fire Academy is up there, and then the chief of training's in the new building.
In the new Building 11. So as soon as we went the turret, everybody remember, don't look at the turret. Don't look at the
don't
turret.
look up there.
Don't look up there. Yeah, don't look up there.
Nice.
So
Roof, what did you want? You wanted to ask Joe a question?
I was trying to remember where did I run into you, Joe? Was that at Sock
I did my whole career in ladder 151 on
How do I
Queens
know?
Boulevard.
When I used to see you, I used to say Firefighter Joe Wiz every time I used to see him.
Roosevelt
Sock
Island.
Island?
Yeah, I was the manpower guy. Thanks to Chief Leeb, he got me the job there. When I became broken.
You done broke yourself.
You know how it is. You take care. Listen, you take care of the good people on the job that care for the job, and Joe has always been one of those guys. I know him. I mentioned I've known him for the entire time I'm in the volunteer fire service. I know him since I'm 14
over 40
years old. Yeah, so he's a wealth of knowledge. He was a chief in the volunteer department as well, and it just take your people and utilize their talents to the best that you can. Find the right position where they can excel. And you know, when Joe went to SOC, I knew he was going to excel there. And what did he do? He started playing with the toys in SOC and started getting involved with a lot of the stuff. When I took him when he went to the fire academy, he was involved in everything. Nothing happened at the fire academy that Joe Wiz didn't know was going on.
Plus,
So I'd be like, what is that? There were times I didn't know. What, Joe? What is that? And he'd be like, "Oh, this is." He'd give me the whole backstory. I'm like, this guy knows more about what's going on here than I do, and I'm supposed to know everything that's going on. But
sometimes, Chief, you were too busy with meetings, phone calls, trying to get procedures set, trying to do the training done, and you would just come up and say, "Joe, I got a couple of VIPs. Can you take them around, give them the tour?" So I was like the Fire Academy tour guide too.
It's a good wingman you got there, Mr. Leeb.
Listen, you should surround yourself with good people, right? And I say it often: if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Joe certainly rank doesn't always equal knowledge. There are, and we've said this, right? And again, with the people that are on tonight, we've had some fantastic people on the show.
Unbelievable.
And I always try and surround myself with quality people. You can't go wrong when you do that. No matter what you do in life, if you surround yourself with good people, you're gonna be successful.
Louis was just telling me that last week, right, Lou?
I was kind of thinking I got to
The
get some
opposite.
new people.
Yeah, I mean, look at the team that you got. You guys have a great.
We got a great team. Johns, Mike, Tang.
I mean, 213 episodes. That's quite an accomplishment.
All right, did I overlap my time?
Like 20 of them were Leeb episodes, so I mean,
Yeah, so we got to deduct that.
yeah, it's like
We didn't break 200 yet.
4 plus 4 going to the rock.
All right, but my brother, thank you for everything.
Yeah, man, we're
Go
getting
with.
longer than
Always a
two
pleasure.
anyway.
So
Yo,
look
great
at this.
job, bro. What is that?
So this is a plaque that this a guy from Canada, from AFD. I forgot the department's name. They made an award that is called. So it's the Air Dare Fire Department, and for their recruit they made an award called the Driver Joe Award. So I met this guy in Manhattan actually on my last day. I didn't tell him it was my last day until we left. I said, today's my last day. And he gave me this to give to Joe and one for myself as well. And they're trying to start this program where every fire academy, they will give their best recruit the Driver Joe Award. And Joe, so when I told Joe about this, he's like, because I got pictures of the award and the award ceremony, and Joe's like, I'm not even dead yet. They can't be naming awards after me, and I'm not worthy. There's so many other people. And I said, Joe, it is the definition, is the mindset of a Driver Joe. I can't tell you how many people that I have met, and they give me what I think is the highest compliment they can for the person who drives them. And they say, he's my Driver Joe. Or someone picks me up at the airport for somewhere I'm going to speak, and they'll tell me it's a privilege to be your Driver Joe today. So Joe represents all of the great people that are working and doing stuff in support of the operation, and doing that. I mean, those folks are invaluable, and so often an unsung, I don't want to say hero, right, but the unsung link in the success. And it's my job. Celebrate your people. When one of them succeeds, we all succeed. And I celebrate Joe and the people who have that mindset. And we've seen others of them today, with Joe Tarantini being on in particular, for a firefighter who was a ladder chauffeur, who has a lot to offer, that did not promote. But again, we need those people that are solid firefighters, that stay firefighters. They are critical to the success of the organization, to every organization, because without the men and women that go to fires and emergencies, if they're not good at what they do, if we don't appreciate them, well, you're going to be left there by yourself, with an untrained or poor department. And that's why the standard has to be there. And Joe is the standard for the driver Joe for those people in my
Man, Joe.
Thank you for that.
Kudos to you, Joe. Thank you.
Joe.
Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it, Joe.
All right, Joe.
That's it.
That's it,
You
brother.
guys have a safe night. Thank you for having me on.
Thank
Again,
you.
Chief, congratulations, my brother. We're going to speak some more.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And you do need. I saw somebody put you need your own show. Yeah, the Driver Joe show.
The Driver Joe show.
Oh,
Love it.
Boy.
Oh boy.
I think you got me going to August, Pensacola. Just go see Kurt in August.
Yeah, man, that's the way it goes.
Same circle of friends.
Yes.
Like a circle.
Like a
circle. It's a freaky circle.
Yeah.
The freaky circle.
All right,
All right, Joey. We're gonna wrap
guys.
this
Thank you
up.
very
I
much.
appreciate it.
Ciao.
Brother.
Chief Leeb, that's it in a nutshell, buddy.
You done did it.
You done did it.
Oh,
Now
man.
you know what, Rafrano? Suck it, bro, because you said it wasn't gonna work. Suck it.
Although we are 2.5 hours in, there's probably like 7 people still.
Only
still
one.
watching.
334.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the one person that didn't get on.
Oh, okay, only one. All right, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I tried to get him to call back, but he didn't. But everybody else we got on.
Yeah, you listen, Kubes, you had a vision, and you pulled it off.
Properly dressed.
Properly dressed.
Yeah.
You know what?
And the occasion.
What do you
And
think?
I thought by 10:30, this show would be going off the rails. Well, by 10. And what I mean by this show, I mean you.
No, bro, I slowed down. This is what I want to say about Chief Leeb. So I would see him throughout my career. I saw him, when he was in 270, I was in 288. And then he got promoted, and all of a sudden I go, oh, Frank must have got promoted. He's Lieutenant 324. Right? And then I don't know where you went as captain. I forget to tell you offhand. I should know. We had you.
76 engine. It's okay.
Right. All right. And then all of a sudden,
Thank
I'm
you,
on,
Mike.
I'm on light duty, and they're having that monthly. What is it? A monthly meeting, or is it with the chiefs that come up to the division? And I'm like, oh, Frank must have got promoted to battalion chief. And then all of a sudden, I forget where I ran into. I'm like, oh shit, look, Frank's a deputy chief. And then my brother goes, Frank's down there running the academy. I'm like, wow. So throughout my whole career, I watched Chief Leeb climb the ladder. And when we went down there to film, right, Roof? Like Roofy can attest to this. We went down there to film the segment on the Rock. Like, I knew the guy loved the job, but it just fucking oozed out of him, bro, how much he loves training and the job.
He took over. Like a lot of guys we put on the camera, right? Like when the camera's there, and they like clam up.
Yeah.
The best part of that whole day for me, when I think back, was when he jumped up on the
chin-ups.
Yeah, and then he came down. He's like, I think I hurt myself or something. He said something like that, like without even hesitating, like to throw himself under the bus. Like it was perfect. It was just pretty fun.
The whole day was great. Like my brother said it right. You'll never leave the fire service. It's in you, bro. It's your part. You and the fire service are one. I can say that. So,
the job.
Some people can't turn it off, man.
All the stuff is it's easy, and you guys know that. You've been doing this a long time. I know you guys a long time, and so Paul Partain, so Matt Ryback, Paul Partain, a couple guys commenting. Paul said, "When are you guys going to land the plane?" And we got refueled. Yeah, good. That's good. We got refueled midair. Thanks, Kyle. And Hey, a shout out. I have a couple of family members that are in the group, but that are in the chat tonight, and
Do it.
especially my sister Catherine is in the chat tonight. So thank
hi,
you for
Katie.
being in there and sticking with this so late. But listen, this has been fun. I want to come on again and talk fires, more fires.
Yeah.
When your book comes out, we can talk about your book, the fires you don't forget.
Yeah.
Or before that.
Always lead with fires, right? The greatest thing you can do for your people, and here, so you didn't ask me, but I'm going to give you a tip of the day.
Oh, yes, you do.
Whoa. We got it lined up. Take it easy.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's time for
the Frank Leeb 100th tip of the day already.
El día. All right, here we go.
As a chief officer, the greatest investment in your time is to visit your firefighters. And when you visit your firefighters in the firehouse, always lead with fire. Always show that you understand and care for them by talking about a fire and an incident that you went to. Yes, you're always going to have to speak about the administrative matters. The firefighters know that, but they understand, and they see your love and appreciation for them when you come and speak about things that could injure or kill them the very next time out the door. So lead with fire. Make sure you visit your firefighters and show them you care. Then talk about the stuff that you have to speak about because headquarters mandates that. But make sure you always lead with fire.
Yeah, Gonzo.
Yeah, that's what I try to do.
Chief Gonzo.
That's what I
You
try
know
to
what?
do.
I have a question on. How come you're not wearing a Getting Salty shirt today? What are we going to send you another one now? You're going to make us.
That's what I'm talking about. Just so,
I'm talking about Chief Leeb.
Oh, sorry. I thought you just hit me up.
I've worn. So those shirts are worn out. So you know what I'm wearing? I'm wearing the Great Lakes Hot shirt. So it's the that is one of the ones I went to this past month. And like I mentioned, those guys are doing great stuff up there.
That's great. That's one. I don't care. But
yeah. So send me another one. What do you want me to tell you?
We'll send you another one.
And
We will definitely.
I've worn the crap out of them.
All right, we'll send you some more.
Before we go, can Chief do the honors and give us a health and safety tip tonight?
No, I'm going to give it.
Oh, okay, fine.
But wait, just in case, Tank's got a few heartful love pledges he wants to make to Chief Leeb before we sign off tonight. You know, we'll set up the romantic. You got romantic music, Gons?
What?
No, do you have romantic music?
No.
Yes, you do. You got the 70s.
I got that. Or let me see what
do you want to wish Chief luck, or you do that? You did. What do you got?
I will.
What do you
Chief,
want,
I
little?
just want to thank you.
Sorry.
It's so silly. It's so silly.
Thank you. You're going to talk?
You're down. You're down.
Coming in. We're coming in.
Yeah.
Holy
I love it. Hey, it's love. It's love. Chief, I just want to say
Full
thank
level
you. You know, from meeting you at CFT and then getting to bring it back together here at Getting Salty and bring all of my networking worlds together that helped me so much to keep my love strong for the job and the part you play in it and the support you've given me. And like everybody tonight has said, it's just genuine and you're humble, and that's the consistent theme. And that's what I get to tell people is that each person that I meet in my network, humility is the consistent.
Take your volume.
To me, by people like you and Chief Ike and Lou and Kev here, it's a blessing. And I tell everybody I'm just a knucklehead kid from Tennessee that gets to do the best job in the world, and I get to be around awesome people that love it and love me and love people that love the job. And so congratulations on the career, and I'm glad I get to know you, and I'm glad I get to call you my friend and my brother, and enjoy it. You deserve it, and good luck.
Now we can't even break his balls now.
Thank you. We are the lucky ones. It is a privilege to serve. Never forget that, and to do what we do. We are all in this together. Career and volunteer, from the probie to the chief of department. We're all in this together, and we're stronger together. We're stronger from podcasts like this. We're stronger when we look at our training lineage and how that meshes to make the entire fire service better. And you heard that from Billy G and from others about that. And I think that's the true value of these type of podcasts and all the different stuff that people are doing, the great stuff all around the fire service. So Tank and the rest of you, thank you so much.
What about you, Mike? Any heartfelt Go ahead.
Sure. My connection with Chief Leeb, and I'll keep it brief because I know we're at the tail end of the show, is a little bit different than most. I'm not on the job quite yet. So my connection stems from, of course, more of a journalistic one. But what I appreciate is that no matter what your background may be, stemming from when we first crossed paths in the very first Gettin Salty episode you did, Chief, to now, of course, is you were always willing to share your knowledge and passion for the fire service with anybody. As long as they were willing to learn and approached it with genuine curiosity, they never looked down on anyone, myself included. And that's the thing that I always appreciated about you, and you mentioned it earlier. You always got back to people. Any question I've had, anything I've ever wanted to know, whatever it may be that I've texted you about or we've messaged about, you've always gotten back to me like that, you know. And there's a lot of people in any job that when they get to positions of authority or high power, they start big timing you. They start treating you like you're less than, even if they don't outwardly say it. Not the case with Chief Leeb. What you see is exactly what you get. And whatever the project was, appearing on my program, which you were nice enough to do, writing the foreword, one of the forewords for my book, which you were also nice enough to do. I appreciate your, as I have a coughing fit, I appreciate your humility. I appreciate your friendship, and I congratulate you on a career well done. Enjoy it.
Thank you,
Wonderful.
Mike. I appreciate that. Mike, when's your book coming out?
This week.
Tomorrow.
Yep.
Tomorrow, right?
Good
Gotta get
folks.
it out.
Amazon. Yep. Good folks. Mad City, Life on the Edge, in the FDNY and NYPD. Chief Leeb is in the book. Chief Leeb wrote one of the forewords for the book. And yeah, looking forward to that, and hopefully doing, you know, an author's corner on it very soon.
1 hour and 20 minutes it gets released. 19 minutes.
Excellent. All right. We know a guy who's working for this organization, so we got to make this a good one, Gons. It's time for the old school health and safety tip of the day.
All right, here we go.
The First Responders Center for Excellence is a not-for-profit organization dedicated to protecting the lives and livelihoods of first responders. Their education and research initiatives aim to bring greater awareness and understanding to the challenges to the health, safety, and well-being of firefighters, EMS personnel, and other first responders too. They are an affiliate of the National Fallen Firefighter Foundation.
Wonderful. Now you've heard me say this a million times. You've heard Rookie say this a million times. And now that we have Chief Leeb retiring, I can't emphasize it enough. When you retire, you want as many years as possible to spend with your wife and family and your hard-earned pension, and you want to live a fulfilled life. But this doesn't start when you retire. This starts when you're younger. These diseases and this cancer and everything is a cumulative effect. So would it be great if you started when you retire? Yes, but these things, these diseases and cancer and the poor eating habits and the the plaque in your, like Louis knows, the plaque in your arteries, that happens over time. So don't wait until you retire, until you start to do something about your health. I'm not saying it's going to be too late by then, but start thinking about it when you're younger, because you want to live the longest, fullest life that you possibly can and enjoy it. And with that, I'll tell Chief Leeb, Chief, I hope you collect your pension for another 50 years and you stay healthy and you enjoy the rest of your life. You deserve it.
For sure. 100%.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, brothers.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you for coming on the show tonight. I'm sure we'll be seeing you soon.
Good stuff.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you having me on. And and for those that stuck with us to the end, thank you. A humble thank you to all of you for still being on there 2 hours and 40 minutes later. So thank you.
44 minutes, but that's
Who's counting?
We'll be sending you. Land the plane, Leeb.
As Chief Tracy would say, but in any event,
yeah, for sure. But we have those two shout outs tonight too.
Oh,
the LOD.
We have line of duties
and the NYPD.
We have Andrew Pointius, LA firefighter, right?
Yep.
Line of duty.
LA
and Amelia Rennick, who was an NYPD police officer, who was hit by a drunk driver sitting in a nail salon, for all places, for crying out loud. So they are line of duty deaths, so therefore I am going to give them the 5 bills line of duty.
It's got to work on that mic.
Got to reset my string.
You got to work on the volume a little bit too.
Oh, all right. Chief Leeb, thank you, brother. Enjoy your retirement.
Thank you, brothers. Appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
All right,
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Who do we have next week? Oh, we got Mike.
Mike on Thursday.
Thursday night.
Yeah,
We are taking Mondays off in the month of July. How do you like that?
And August.
I thought I was on next Thursday.
That's the following Thursday. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right, Rookie's got to get out and go to bed. Me too. All right, fellas. We'll see you next Thursday. Until then, stay low and go. Thank you for everybody coming on the show. Appreciate it.
All right, everybody. We'll see you at the big one. Thanks again, Francis.
All right, guys.
Pleasure and an honor. See you on the fire floor.
All right, guys. This is South Florida rolling heavy. We're rolling out. Congratulations, Chief. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Be advised, everyone, the tones are dropping.
Oh.